ain't no stopping us. Fly without a boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be on a Monday night. And it's been like that since we first started Mondays. I'm back. I got a suntan. I got the hat. Maz, Lee, Iggy, JP are super excited to have me back. They've been texting me every day. Still, where are you? Come back. We need you. We're back. No. Not one message. Not a single message.
I didn't even know you were back still.
I didn't.
There you go.
What did you go? What did you go away somewhere?
Yeah, I had to do a couple of weeks in. Had to do some time. That's a nice mug you got there, Lee.
Wandsworth.
I like Lee's mug. It's a nice mug.
Nice, isn't it? Makes everything taste sweeter.
Cheers, boys.
That's a nice
Cheers,
mug.
boys.
It's a nice mug. It's a nice mug. Yeah.
Yay! Come on, Iggs. Soph, sort his mug out.
Yeah. I think they're making me a coffee as we speak, so don't worry. I'll be here.
How's everyone doing? Hey, Dinnigy, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you guys?
Back in the swing.
All right. Not too bad.
All good. Can't complain. Nice weather.
Miss Spurs.
It feels like there's a massive delay in between the responses.
certainly miss Spurs, that's for sure.
You're missing
But
Spurs.
however, I
There's a
was still,
sinners I haven't heard in a while.
however, what I will say is I was still fretting during that international break. It was more like, don't get injured, don't get injured, don't get injured.
Do you know what? There was a time where we was looking forward to to international break to get away
Yeah.
from Spurs. Now we can't wait to get back in it. How things quickly change. Incredible.
There's certainly no Ange Ball in England, was there?
Oh God, let's not talk about England. It's like going back to last season. Let's step away from it. Maz, how you did, Maz? You good?
Yep, all good, mate. All good. All good. Nice weather. Relaxed. No Spurs on. You can relax when there's Tottenham aren't playing. And yeah, all good.
All good. Lee, happy? Everyone good?
Happy. Always happy. Football season started yesterday for the boys. First match, 30 degrees scorching heat.
Heat strokes.
9 years old, and they gave everything for 50 minutes. So I can't complain.
Is that what you're doing? You're coaching 9-year-olds?
Yeah.
That's a nice age.
What are they under 9s or under 10s?
Under 9s. So some of them are, most of them are 8. There's a couple of them that are just turning 9 because they're the oldest in their year.
I miss them days, man. I miss watching the boys that age.
Lee, how do you deal with like emotional young kids who cry a lot?
None of my boys cry.
Oh, all right, okay. But if they did, what would you do?
We got rid of them last year. No, they do get emotional, and you just have to take it. You're just like, you know, there's 3 of us that run the team, and you're just like extension of fathers. You know, really.
What about if they cry every time you sub them?
Are you asking for a friend, Richie?
Mate, yesterday, there was no problems with subs yesterday, I can tell you that. We only added 2 subs, and those boys were absolutely shattered after about 10 minutes of being in that heat. But you know what? I couldn't have run around for as much as they did. They were absolutely chomping at the bit to get back on that pitch after a break. So, fantastic. And we came out winning 4-3, so should have won 10-3, but didn't have their shooting boots on, but they managed to score 4.
Who was up front? Richarlison?
No, he was off. He had a party. He had a trampolining party to go to.
He was crying.
We've got 120 odd people watching. Please smash a like. God bless you all for joining us. Just a quick reminder, if you don't mind, the Football Content Awards. The only one we think we can win is the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Award. So we've gone for that one. Only on the basis it's the only one we think we can win. So if you don't mind, go over there and just pick Tottenham away for equality and diversity. That'd be lovely. And we are a very diverse panel of backgrounds here, so it's not all we're not just making it up. I want to do a quick big up to Minneapolis Spurs, who got in touch with me. If you don't remember, last year I went out to Minneapolis for work and I ended up going to spend a day with them. Nutters, absolute nutters. They formed an official Minneapolis Spurs band. So before every game now, they play Spurs songs, the band. And they sent me some pictures. I'll big you lot up, man. Of course I'll big you up. And
Quality.
There they are. The guy there in the middle with the bandana and the sunglasses, he's called the Reverend, and he does like this sermon before kickoff, like those evangelists you see on American TV. Mate, it's epic. It's epic stuff. But anyway, big up Minneapolis Spurs. We've got a few people in the chat. Let's quickly say hello. We've got Hate Breed. He doesn't care about Harry Kane, he says. Big up Chris Bongbar. Big up Sophie, Tony, Chris, William, JJ, Sue Smith. Hate is a strong word. I don't hate Harry Kane. Just want him to go quietly. Bertie Hotspur in the house. We've got Eves Basuma. Thanks for joining us, Basuma. I know you're not playing at the moment, but thank you. He's not happy with what Kane's done at all. Sue's in the house. We've got Jo. We've got SVROBG. We've got our Language Angels channel member. Big up.
Language Angels. Paolo. I met him on Saturday.
Okay.
We was watching an event. Paolo. I remember the name now. Big up, Paolo. It was really lovely meeting you, mate. So the name stood out and it just triggered my memory.
Big up to Paolo. We've got Free SS Sports. We've got Nita. Sue Smith, who says this is like an episode from 24. Graham House. We've got Mark Cousins and Americanco replying to Basuma saying, Kane made the right decision. Step into reality. We've got JJ. We've got Benjamin. We've got Wayne Holland, Leicester fan. Good guy.
Big up, Wayne.
Wayne, I hope the
How's
health
Winksy
is
doing?
okay.
Have to tell us how Winksy's doing.
How's Harry Winks doing over there at Leicester? We've got Rams, who's a gooner, who loves us as well. We love Rams too. We've got John George, big up. Cyprus was great. Thanks for asking. Marcus Anthony, DJ in the house. Stel, you look red. Arsenal, never. Never. Benjamin's in the house. Jay's in the house. We've got Aqua Subs, big up. London Bro, big up. Another channel member there. Scott's in the house. Who else we got that's not been mentioned yet? Donna Cullen. How you doing?
You have to sort out
right,
Donna
can everyone raise their
Boys.
mugs so we can prove to Donna that everyone's got them? Donna, everyone's got their mugs. We've all got them now. All right, so I hope that answers your question. C cubed, diverse nonsense. What's your female representation? Well, technically it's you, but you're on a sabbatical, so we're waiting. We need you to come back so we can get you. You can help us get it over the line.
I'm waiting for
Rob
you.
Belcher's in the house. We're waiting, Cube. Big up Bill. Big up Sammy and the kids. Paul's in the house. He didn't piss me off. He's right. No Spurs support has been happy. Yep. We're going to get into it for sure. We've got Liam in the house. Lee Enigma, who's also on the panel. We've got Billy Beebe, Tot Spur, Davo, Brian Daigle, brother from another mother. How you doing, Brian? Hope you're well. Okay, so little dig here as well. 5 Tottenham mugs. Ha, 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 DJ. Ha, ha, ha. All right, look, let's get straight into
Arsenal
it.
bottles, but
Hey!
Hey!
Boom.
Mugs, bottles.
Off the bat.
Oh, my Lord, I tell you. We also got Baz there. Last minute, big up Baz. All right, we've got a fair bit I want to go through tonight, but the big one is, as the title says, Harry Kane has left and the hate has begun. Let's explain it a little bit. So, Harry Kane said, Auf Wiedersehen to Spurs and joined Bayern Munich. And this week he was quoted as saying, we wanted to win at Spurs, but if you went a couple of games without winning, it wasn't a disaster. At Bayern, you have to win every game. After winning 3-1 and 4-0 with Bayern in our first 2 games, there was talk about not being too happy about the way we played. Top club mentality. And then Spurs fans weighed in. This particular account, SW Spurs, who is a friend of Brian Daigle's and mine. Nut. Last comment. Kane couldn't care less about me or you. He didn't love us how you think. His favourite goal was for England. The last interview we were referred to as a club I currently play for. Forget him because he's forgotten about us. He wanted out for years. Luis Garcia on ESPN, he also weighed in and said, I think he was the captain, referring to Spurs. He should have stepped up and said, listen, we need to win this one. We're going to talk with the chairman and we have to win every single game. Maybe some of that is his fault. I don't remember Lewis being in the changing room to know what was said, but okay. Then I look at previous comments from ex-players who left, like Christian Eriksen, who said, it was so difficult to win trophies before. Now I'm experiencing perhaps the best moment in my career. This is when he joined Inter Milan. I do things differently, referring to Inter Milan, and now I have a trophy on my name. Where was the abuse for Christian Eriksen? Where was the hate for him? He's kind of talking the same language. Big up, Will. Thanks for joining. So I put out a comment on behalf of the channel, but it only actually is from me. It wasn't from the rest of the panel. And I said this. Spurs haven't won an FA Cup in over 30 years. So explain how Harry Kane saying there's no pressure to win at Spurs has caused our fan base to turn against him. The same fans who said we just want to watch good football now hate Kane for speaking about winning. You bellend. Okay, maybe didn't need to say the last bit, but I just felt that. You can see how there's a split in opinion. And if I go through all the comments as well, where people defending Kane, like American in the comments was talking about how, why are you turning against Harry Kane? This is reality. So there seems to be a divide in how people have taken his comments. Let's go around and see how you each individually feel. And let's discuss. is this really a big deal? Has Harry Kane taken a dig at Spurs, the fans? Has he taken a dig at Daniel Levy? If so, why didn't he say Daniel Levy's name? Where are you at with it? Iggy, the floor is yours.
I spoke briefly about it in this morning's video, but there's nothing that he said that isn't true. It has, first of all, it has to be underlined. Why he's then gone 10 years accepting it before moving on is beyond me, because I said this morning and that if I joined a company, let's just put it in our terms, if we joined the company at work, that whichever line of work you're in, if you join a company that does not share that same mentality as you, or your mentality is not the same as theirs, you may put up for it for 6 months, a year, whatever, but eventually you will move on to a company that share the same ambition as you. So if that is what he thought all along, why did he wait so long to then move on? It has to be said, it feels like a little bit like he's gone to his new family, now he's having a dig at his old family, where it's almost as if spitting in the plate that he ate for a long while. That's how I take. But listen, having said all of that, I don't disagree with anything he said, because I know what Spurs are all about. I know they don't live and breathe to win trophies. It's clear. The evidence is there, and it has been. It just feels that it's taken him to move to then really say what he thinks, when he was there for long enough as vice captain as well behind Lloris to really, really put it out there. I felt that he should have said it whilst he was at Spurs. Maybe he did. We don't know. Or once you've gone, you're doing what you want. We know why you've joined Bayern Munich. We know that they share the same ambition as you. Perhaps you've joined the club now that you see that mentality and thinking, this is me. Then go with it, man. You don't need to go back and say the things that you said so close after you've just left. That's all I'm saying. That I don't disagree. I just think it was a little bit of bad taste. That's all.
JP, what's your take on it?
Talk about overreactions from everyone. I don't know. Go and get a cuddly toy and give it a cuddle or something. What, as he said, is wrong, firstly. Secondly, we don't know what the question was. Or do you know what the question was to him?
No, I don't actually.
Right. So his answer is his answer was simple enough to say, I've been at a club for God knows how long. I've come to a new club now, and I'm experiencing something new. I'm feeling pressure at this new place because I'm feeling it. He can sense it from above. Did he have that pressure at Tottenham? No. Should he have made that pressure at Tottenham? That's a different story. But there was no pressure on him. And I've heard people go, oh, he was part of it. He hasn't turned up in finals. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. Fine, he hasn't done it. But no one's actually put pressure on him to achieve anything. And as he says, if he lost 2 games, it was no biggie. But he's gone to this new establishment now, and he feels the atmosphere, the aura about it, which he obviously feels not threatened, but he feels that pressure or that expectation in terms of, man, I have to win every single game here. Like, looking at everyone, looking at all their faces, looking at the attitude around the club, looking at the hierarchy, looking at everything else, it's a bit different to Spurs. And that's all he's saying. It's different to Spurs. I don't think he's digging out anyone. I don't think he's having a go at it. I think he's probably asked the question as, what's the difference between Spurs and kind of where you are now, or something stupid like that. I don't know.
Few Champions Leagues, many league titles.
He was simply asked, how do you like being at Bayern? That was it.
Okay.
He volunteered all the Spurs information himself.
Oh, okay.
But the pressure, he's obviously feeling like different levels. And I guess something I would say is that we probably have to also understand is the fact that he's been at Tottenham for God knows how long. And that's how it's always been there, right? he's suddenly gone to. So if I'm sure he would have had the same feeling or that felt the same way if he went to Man City, if he went to Real Madrid. You would see that difference. You would see that expectation of having to win every single game. Personally, I don't really see that at Tottenham. Now, he could have been part of it, you could say, even if he was part of this leadership group, which I've heard people going on about, he was part of the leadership group, he should be doing it. But you carry on with your job, right? If no one above, and unfortunately it goes like always kind of like goes up above, if you don't get that pressure from your boss or from your boss's boss or from the directors or anyone coming down on you saying, we have to do this, we have to win a cup, we have to win the league, we have to win. If it's just qualify us for top 4, so it doesn't matter if you lose a couple of games. Doesn't matter. We'll probably lose at Man City. We'll probably lose here. We'll probably lose at Liverpool or whatever. But that's cool. That's all right. As long as we get top 4. If that's what the pressure is, it is totally different at Bayern. It's my view, and I just think people have kind of like people are not hypocritical, but we don't like. We say it ourselves, but we don't like hearing it from outsiders, should we say?
Will, I know you've got a different take on this, right? Which is good because we want.
Yeah, we're not an echo chamber here on Tottenham Way.
Yeah, we're not. We're not. People say we are. We just all had one opinion that we agreed on, which was we were a bit. Well, we're not a bit. We were anti-Levy. So. But this isn't about Levy. This is about Harry Kane. What's your take?
I don't see how you can't. I don't get that rationale on how you can't be anti-Levy, but that's just me.
with the Kane comments, though, where are you?
Yeah. So with the Kane comments, look. First of all, I think everything he said is absolutely true, right? I think there's no doubting that. I mean, we can just look at the results from what's going on, over the past forever. And or at least during the Daniel Levy era. But while that being said, I think everything that he said is absolutely true and right. I think the timing and the way that he decided to say it is a bit of a dick move, right? Like it doesn't need to be said, right? Like I mean, I personally don't have this problem, but if you were to, if you were to have a small PP. And then your ex-girlfriend was to go on TV and tell everybody that you had a small PP, right? Does it really need to be said, right? Do you really want your ex-girlfriend going on national television telling everybody you got a small PP?
I disagree with that,
and you should fulfill your girlfriend in different ways.
See, right.
Well, but your girlfriend was there for 10 years. Your girlfriend played, you guys were together. Right, you guys went on vacations. You guys, did the dirty. And
I think you've taken that out of context now, right?
I haven't.
I'm going to tell you why I think you have, right? Because this isn't about him saying, "Oh, small penis, big penis." I think it's, if we're going to use your analogy, I don't know where we're going with this, by the way, but if we're going to use your analogy, it's like I was with a girl, and she only demanded we have sex once a month. Now I'm with this other girl; she wants it every day. I'm under pressure here, right? That's what he's saying. The relationship's different. The demands are different.
You could measure the pressure in every way. 12 inches is a lot of pressure. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but isn't that what he's saying? The demands.
No. It's not the demands. It's where he's talking about talking about the deficiencies and the efficiencies. He's using Byron's mentality of having to win every game as having, right, a bigger and greater mentality than he did it than Tottenham does. That's what he's saying.
There's more pressure there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Having a bigger mentality, right? Anyway, he's showing a positive. He's not saying Byron's bad or for that or whatever. And it's not simply frequency. The point isn't how many games, right? That's a tongue-in-cheek anecdotal example that he's giving in this particular statement. His intent and what he's trying to say is Bayern's level and mentality is here, and Spurs' mentality is here, right? How many games you could lose or whatever, winning every day. That is just an anecdotal example of him trying to elicit the point of the mentalities of the club, right? Having a winning mentality versus not having a winning mentality. And the thing that bothers me about it, besides just the fact that he's taking pop shots that don't need to be taken, Like, how come he never came out and said this in a press conference on an international break while he was playing for the club? He could easily do that, right? Like, you know, in say the Euros press conference or something, he's like, playing with Tottenham, you know, we really need to up our winning mentality. You know, we can go a couple games without anybody getting on our cases, and that needs to stop, right? Like, he was a part of. He wasn't just a janitor at a company. He was the COO of the company, right? So if the company isn't performing and doesn't have a good mentality, he needs to, as a leader, as the top player, as the talisman, as the vice captain, to take it upon himself to instill that mentality at the club. That's his job. And to be responsible for and have a part in instilling that mentality at the club, he shouldn't be taking public pot shots at it, right? Because we all know what he said is true. It's the same thing for me with Conte. If you guys remember the Conte press conference towards the end of his tenure, everybody flipped out, right? Did Conte say anything that wasn't true? No, absolutely not. But the difference between what Conte did and what Kane did is Conte did it while he was still here, right? That's why I respect. He had the balls to come out and say it while he was here.
That was my point.
And if he's taking pot shots at Daniel Levy, then just mention Daniel Levy's name. There's no harm in it for him now.
All right, I'm going to bring in Maz now. Maz, I've got 2 questions for you off the back of what Will said. Okay, so first question is: do
you have a big pee-pee, and
are you under pressure from your wife to perform every? No. First question is: based on what Will said, do you think Kane has an element of significant responsibility to change the culture at Spurs? Is the onus on him? And secondly, Conte had no emotional attachment with Spurs. Kane came through the ranks. He's one of our own. He's a different. He's looked at in a different way from the fans as to what Conte was. So, question 1: should Kane have done more to change the mentality, or could he? And 2, was Kane's position different to Conte's, therefore enabling Conte to say what he said, and Kane Kane not able to speak up the way Conte did?
In answer to question 1, yes, Kane has had a responsibility to change the mentality of the players around him and demand more and expect more. Whether he could have done that, I think that's out of his hands. Although
different
he should
argument.
have absolutely different argument, and you could say he should have an element of self-belief in trying to do that. What typically happens, if you go back to Iggy's point, is if you join an organization and they don't match your ambition in your direction of travel, then you try to instill the change if you have the ability to do so, depending on where you are in that organization. And if you don't, live by the sword, die by the sword. You either make a fuss and you leave. Now my points aren't really that dissimilar to Will's. He should have said it during his tenure at Spurs, and he should have demanded the absolute best from Levy and Spurs to fulfill that ambition. And the fact that he didn't come out and he towed the line for so long in itself is his failure.
But Maz, that goes to question 2. That goes to question 2. Was his position as being an academy player with us for 10 years as a kid, then into the team and being one of the best players, is his deep-rooted affiliation with Spurs one of our own? No one's been called one of our own, right? Before, not as far as I've supported Spurs, if we've called a player that. Is his affiliation with Spurs so different from what Conte's was that Conte was maybe more able to come out and say, I don't give a shit, whereas Kane was, I do give a shit because you lot made me?
I don't think I think that's 2 different arguments. It's 2 different angles of attack there, right? One is the affiliation aspect. What I would say to that is, look at Perryman. I mean, he was the embodiment of Spurs and he demanded the absolute best. Now, whether they achieve that's a different question. Another angle is that, you know, did we as a club fail him to instill that ambition in him, and make him that man who thrives on ambition and winning? I mean, he certainly gave us the impression that he wanted to win.
He said it in a lot of interviews, man.
Yeah, but again, I'm having my doubts with his statements post leaving. And we've had many discussions about Kane's ambitions, especially in the last 3-4 years with all the shit show that's happened. But the second part of what you said, Stel, is he should just want to win, and as a professional.
Did he play to lose then? Is my question to that.
No,
well, he's done his damnedest, hasn't he? 30 goals, 20 goals, 20 goals, 20 goals.
No,
look, I'm not trying to.
No.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
Let's not exaggerate his goals, right? People do that enough already.
Right. So I'm not talking about winning a game of football or scoring lots of goals. I'm talking about winning trophies. He should demand that from the fans. He should demand that from, right, and the hierarchy of the club and the staff at the club, right? And the fact that he's coming out now post leaving and saying, oh, well, there's a different type of pressure in him mentality. Well, a really good professional demands that mentality. Ronaldo, as an example. So, yeah, that's my take.
All right. I'm going to jump on with some of the things you said and go to Lee, right? Lee.
Yeah.
Taking what Maz said, how do we not know that Kane did demand it, but his approach was different? He did it behind closed doors, in meetings with Levy, in meetings with Joe Lewis, and said to him, look, I want more. You should want more. Start sorting out the transfers. Stop keeping the dead.
Then he needs to come out and say it.
Iggy, wait.
He needs to come out and say it.
Wait, Iggy, hear me out.
He needs to come out and say it still.
Because
all he's done is upset the fans by doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Conte came out and said it and sabotaged his contract. Harry Kane, in his mentality, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just trying to create debate. Harry Kane, I'm just trying to think if from his position, he's under contract. He doesn't want to break his contract. He wants to stay at Spurs, but he wants the club to change mentality and meet his. So he's got to play it in a way where he doesn't breach his contract. Comes out and does what Conte's done. He's in breach of his contract. So, Lee, how do we know
that
he's
Kane
not. Didn't speak? Yes, you are. You can't say bad.
Well, hold on. Before Lee answers, right? Let me answer that, right?
All right. Sorry.
The difference is Conte was a winner, and he came to Spurs as a winner to help us win, right? And he demanded what he demanded, and we fell short of that, and then he blew the place up. That's what he does, right? Kane doesn't need 10 years to do that. Once there comes a point, if your wife's cheating on you for 10 years and you do nothing about it, then you're almost complicit in that act by doing nothing about it.
That's what the PP analogy is for. If it was good enough for you for 10 years, why are you telling everybody I got a small one now?
That's a contradiction now, because you can't say on the one hand Conte's a winner, but then when the winner comes to the club, you want Kane to leave when the winner's here. Well, the winner's here. I want to stay and win.
What's Kane leaving? What's Kane leaving got to do with what I said? I don't see the correlation.
Conte was happy to say what he said, knowing he'd get sacked. Kane never wanted to get sacked. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't think he. Well,
Conte got himself sacked
on the balance of probability. Yes. However, I've always said, and I've repeated it. I repeated this point many times. Is the club had an opportunity to actually flip that situation around and say, you know what, you're right, and we back our manager and make the changes, right? But they didn't. They let him die there and then in that 20-minute rant or 10-minute rant that he did, right? They could have saved that situation and given him all the backing that they've given Ange in terms of clearing out the players, getting in the players he wanted, but they didn't do that. So yes, he probably was going to get sacked, but there was always another potential outcome.
And Kane, the difference between
And
Kane
I'm
and
not-
Conte is Kane was our version of Lionel Messi, right? They're not sacking Harry Kane. At that point, at this point in his career, what you want to talk about sparring off the Daniel Levy movement would be for him to come out, for Kane to actually say, hey, look, guys, we need to improve our mentality. We don't have, the fact that we can go a couple of games without losing isn't good enough. We should be fighting to where we need to win every game, and we need to win every game 3-0. If he came out and publicly said that, and Daniel Levy sacked Harry Kane, the roof would explode off of that stadium, and you know it.
Yeah, but
if he came out and publicly
said
not publicly, he never did.
No, but if he came out and publicly
that's what I'm saying.
said
That's
that,
why he didn't do it.
Why?
That's why he didn't do it. He didn't want that scenario.
But
Because
he
wouldn't have
He
happened.
did not need to do that. Listen, I've seen the comments on it. First and foremost, we know the reasons as to why Kane left. We know it.
Bring in Lee at some point, though.
No, it's fine. We know the reason as to why Kane left. It's not like we're completely oblivious to it as to why he left, because of the lack of ambition at this club, which is why he chose to go to Bayern Munich, because of the ambition that they have. We know the reasons as to why. What he's done now is just almost as if to say, oh, I left because of the reasons why. Exactly, he's saying it, but we know why. So what are you saying? What is it? Exactly, why bring it up? If anything, you should tell us the reasons why he left and who's the cause of it. Exactly. Now that will be telling me something new. You're telling me the reason why you left, or you're keeping it all clear just in case one day you want to come back to go and bring, go and get your player, your Premier League record. But then go and do it at another club. You don't need to do that here.
He might want to come back to Spurs. He might want to go. In fact,
he can come back under a different owner.
Saying nothing at all because still. We know why he left. He doesn't need to have this interview. He does not need to say anything. He should have just left quiet, he did.
Hold on, Iggy. But 1 minute.
We know the reasons.
But I don't think we do, because I'm going to come to Lee.
Why don't we? He left to go to Bayern Munich. What does he need to tell you? It speaks on itself.
You know that. I know that. A lot of fans know that. But there's a lot of fans that think that he turned on us at the wrong time, and there's a lot of fans that feel.
I don't think it turned on us.
No, I know for a fact, because 2 months ago, I was on this show saying 100% he's gone. It's done. It's over. There's no way. How many fans said, no, he's going to see out his contract. No, he's going to stay and see how it goes. Half the fan base was saying he's staying. You're crazy, Stelios. He walked.
That was an emotive response to them not wanting him to leave. That's all that was.
Yeah.
But that was the fan opinion, though. That was the fan opinion that's different. Lee, what's your take on this? Where are you at with this? What do you think?
I'm going to go completely different direction, right? So
no penises. No,
don't worry, no penises. I haven't got enough anyway. I'm wondering whether there's you can't deny that these players don't look at social media in some way, shape, or form, right? And over the last couple of seasons, the air around the Spurs fans has not been one that's been very pleasant. I'm tending to wonder whether it's a little bit of truth in there, but also a little bit of bitterness on the basis that all of a sudden this season, the hype at Spurs is great. Everyone's really excited. They love the football. The team's doing well without him. Everyone said, we can't do this without Kane. You've got to have Kane in the group. He's the world's best player. And all of a sudden, we don't need him yet. It's only been 3 or 4 games, but it's looking like we've got a good foundation, and we're going. Something's happening, and everyone's excited about it to an extent. So maybe a little bit of bitterness there as well. On the point to do with should Kane have said something, had the same ambition, absolutely. But what do you think Levy cares more about? Him as a player and what he wants, or him as an icon and what he brings to the club in terms of revenue?
Yeah, the latter.
He could have had that conversation 100 times. It doesn't mean that Daniel Levy's going to go, all right, I'm going to spend £1 billion next year. It ain't that. This just doesn't happen like that. This is a business. So he kept in there as long as he could, because he probably is the number one generator after Son of money coming into that club from merchandise, all this kind of stuff. But, and this is what I'm going to finish on. His first paragraph of where he said the mentality is like, oh, don't worry about it. We've lost a couple of games. Don't worry. But that should tell you all you need to know as to why some of these players have been here as long as they have. Because the mentality is, oh, don't worry about it. There's no ambition to get the deadwood out of the club. There's no ambition to do this over the last 10 years. It's almost like a Jolly Boys club. You know, they're just coming to work, have a game of football. Oh, we lost. Oh, don't worry about it. That's probably why some of these guys have been there for so long. Because you just don't see that in other clubs.
And how much can Kane actually get if we're asking Kane to go and drag people up? Sorry, still. If we're asking Kane to go and drag people up, they should raise his expectations, and you need to be winners. He's got to do it for Dyer. He's got to do it for Davies. He's got to do it for Lucas Moura. He's got to do it for Sessegnon. He's got to do it for.
I mean, you've got to remember as well, if he was that influential,
he to do that, right?
Yeah, if he was that influential, it was only up until the last couple of matches of last season where he was actually captain, right? Before that, he wasn't the captain. He wasn't the voice. It was Lloris was. So, you know,
he's always been vice captain, and it doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to actually affect the change. He just simply needs to stand for it. There's a difference between
you need someone that's
going to
listen, Will.
It doesn't matter if people listen or not. If you're a good leader, it doesn't matter if your people listen to you or not. You still tell them what they need to hear, right?
Exactly.
It's not going to make Dyer any better, is it?
It doesn't matter if it makes him better or not.
I think JP, that's just giving a weak excuse, JP. Things like that Dyer making it's not his responsibility to make the other players better, but he can uplift them. He can demand more. It's the players themselves that need to make themselves better, and the coaches, etc., right? And it always you can liken this. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish my point, and then I'll answer your question. Give me a sec. Right? You go into you can liken this exact situation to exactly what Iggy said earlier. You go into a job, right? And you might stay there for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Right, you're going to have various roles within your job that you have to fulfill. You get judged on that during your performance reviews, end of year reviews, whatever KPIs they have to judge you. Right, could be if you're in a coffee shop making coffees. How good are your coffees? Right, now it comes to the point.
Sounds culpable as well.
If the company and the management is failing you, but you stay consistent with your point, then you have to make a decision. Do I want to progress my career, earn more money, or win things in his scenario, or do I stay there? And once you make the decision to stay there, you're then complicit to the problem.
But Maz, he's been asking to go for God knows how long. And if that chairman, he obviously wanted to get to Man City. If that chairman then demands saying, you've got a contract for blah, 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 unless someone pays £150 million for you, that's the only way you're getting out of it.
How did the other players do it then in other clubs? Why are we special? Is it just because of Levy?
Exactly.
Turn in the transfer request. That's all that's got to be done. Write the paperwork and have it send it in.
He's never going to do that. Kane's not going to do that.
It doesn't matter. That's his problem. That's his fault.
He wants to be the good boy. And I want to drop this bomb.
He wants to be the good boy, yeah.
Because this is a different angle. It's the angle I brought up Friday night. And I'm going to double down, and I'm going to add some more ammunition to this. And mind you, I love Harry Kane. He's one of my favorite Spurs players. But I'm gonna tell it like it is in regards to him. He was telling the truth. He was telling the absolute truth that the mentality of this club, we all know it starts with Daniel Levy and the board, and it seeps like a contagious disease throughout the whole club. Everybody, to the janitor, to the ticket person that collects the tickets when you walk in. It affected the whole club. That statement, when he said that statement, the first thing that came in my mind in regards to that statement is he is trying to separate or absolve himself from this mentality that he talks about. Harry Kane, Stefan just posted what I was talking about Friday night. Harry Kane, you were a part of it. You stayed 10 years. You were a part of this culture. Everybody was a part of it.
This is a ridiculous comment.
So don't act. No, wait. I'm going to get to it, right? You were a part of it. Yes, it starts from the top with Daniel Levy. It starts with the board. but you get a percentage of the players get part of that blame of this loser mentality. And I use the Dynamo Zagreb game as an example of their attitude or their mentality. They had their heads down and whatsoever. They walked off. I didn't see anger or rage or players calling each other out. Like, how we keep losing time after time after time. So what I did is bring up Poch, right? Because everybody's all right. Conte, okay. Oh, Jose, okay. I brought up the Newcastle game. Remember that Newcastle game when we lost 5-1 when Poch was the coach? When Poch said this about our mentality, right? He says, first of all, I would like to apologize to our fans. I don't think they deserve all that happened on the pitch, and I apologize, right? He goes on to say, to our families, plural, I apologize. It's difficult to go back to go see your kids, your wife, your girlfriends, and your dad. Basically, he's calling out the whole team. He said, what we have said this whole season in the last few weeks is that we need to improve our mentality, right? He's talking about the team. Then he says, today we can see for the problem from the beginning was that we were not ready to compete. We did not have enough quality to try to play with the ball the whole season. Eventually, Pochettino said, oh, we were on holiday, and that was the reality. Don't separate yourself from this mentality. We know it starts from Daniel Levy. It's easy to say it's Daniel Levy the board. I get that. But Harry Kane, you were a part of it. You were a part of this. And like Denzel
He didn't
Washington,
say he wasn't, though, did he?
No. Like Denzel Washington says on training day, I'm putting cases on everybody. So this is on everybody. Don't act now all like, okay, they had this loser mentality. You were part of it. You were a part of it. I'm sorry.
Murray,
he didn't actually say that they've got a loser mentality.
Can I say something, right? Kane was part of this mentality, right? He was. But at the same time, so was Christian Eriksen, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, and Kyle Walker, and every other top player that we've had that left. So therefore, their mentality all stinks as well. Then, of course, it does.
So who they're digging out? Who they're digging out?
Let me finish. The problem isn't this mentality of certain individuals. The problem is the shambolic players that this club has signed. Everyone's just kissing ass. Ange ball. Ange is great. I'm loving it. But then just a reminder, the team he put out in the Carabao Cup, we look like Conte again. So it's got nothing to do for me with individual players' mentalities. It's the quality of play that's put on that pitch. And when you surround good players with crap, we're going to be average. And you saw it in the Carabao Cup. How are we going out to Fulham? It was an awful performance. So I get what you're saying, and I understand everyone's point of view. But for me, I just think Kane's come out. He said what he said. Whether it's a right or wrong thing to say, I just think it's unfair to say you're part of the same mentality.
He is part of it. You just said he was, so then it's not unfair.
It's a club mentality. He was
a part of the club.
No, he was part of it because this is the club he chose to stay at. But as an individual, his mentality isn't like that, which is why he broke free.
How do we know his mentality isn't like that? Everybody assumes.
Because he left, Will.
So lots of other players have left too. So then Christensen, Bale, Modric, they don't have that mentality either because they left.
No, they left and they won everything because they've got the winning mentality.
Yeah, but the major difference between those players. Still, the major. But hold on.
One at a time.
It's a team game. It's a team game. We're saying this individual, your mentality didn't do enough.
Those players that you mentioned, Stel, right? They built their careers at Spurs. They stayed for 4, 5, 6 years, right? And then when they're at their peak of their powers, they left with immediate effect. They left and they went and won. Walker did it. Modric did it. Bale did it. Right? But the difference between them and Kane is Kane stuck through all the crap when it all fell down instead of just leaving.
Under Poch, why would you leave under Poch? When you sack Poch...
No, he should have left when Poch left. He should have...
But then they bought Jose in.
Mourinho got us to a cup final. We sacked him. And we're going to put
should have left then. That's fine.
But then he brought Conte in. No, but then he brought another serial winner.
Wasn't Harry Kane on this leadership committee? I find it hard to believe.
He was.
When Nuno came in, what did Harry Kane do? When Nuno came in, Harry Kane was, I'm out, man. I'm done.
But he didn't force the move. This is what I'm saying. Look, I don't think any fan, no, he didn't. No, he didn't, or he wouldn't be here. He did not turn in a transfer request, Sel. He did not turn in a transfer request.
He had freeze on the contract. Levy held all the cards. It didn't matter.
It does matter. A player can force a move. They're not slaves to their contracts. Yes, they can. He can refuse to play.
Will, the chairman doesn't have to break the contract unless he chooses to. He can't.
He can refuse to play.
And then he gets fined for not playing. And he doesn't have any
then he gets fined.
Okay, but he chose not to do that because he's a professional. He's not a moron.
Well, why is he not a moron? If he's not happy to be there, you don't just stick around someplace. You don't have to stay. There is no rational Spurs fan.
Because he's a professional.
There is no rational Spurs fan who would have cussed Harry Kane for turning in a transfer request, especially during the last 4 years of the club. Not a single one.
But look all the Spurs fans now, though, Will. All these come out.
They're not rational. I said rational. I think that was
to be clear, I don't blame. I'm not that fussed about what he said. To be honest with you, because like everyone said, what he said is, I don't disagree with what he said. I don't think it's as big of an issue as this debate is turning out. Although it's a good debate, definitely a good debate. But at the end of the day, you have to take accountability for yourself as an individual. You can't just blame other factors, right? And yes, there's a contract there, but he can, there's ways and means of getting out of the contract or forcing a move. There's billions of other players that have done it, right? There's no way that Spurs is this unique club that can lock their players down to every single minutiae of a contract, and that other top players that want to leave can't. They can do it fine, but Kane can't. Right? He needs to take a responsibility for the decisions he's made, as we need to take responsibility.
This goes back to what I said to you earlier, Maz. Maz, this goes back when we first started talking this evening. I said to you, question 2: is Kane's affinity to Spurs? He came through the ranks. We made him. Does that change the way he then behaves with us?
That's his fault.
Isn't it different? How is it?
Even if it changes, that's his position, his opinion of himself.
That's right.
He's responsible for his actions taking that point of view.
Okay,
right?
But Will, my dad might ask me to do something I don't want to do, right? So you might say to me, but it's up to you still. But out of respect to my dad, because he raised me, without him, I'm nothing. I'd say, do you know what? I'm going to do it. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fine, right? But then you're responsible for doing that action. Just because you didn't want to do it,
but being respectful.
That's fine. You're still responsible for it.
That affects the way I decide things. No, I'm responsible, but it affects the way people think. That's what I'm trying to point out. That decisions can be influenced by other forces that you're being respectful to, and rightly so, I think.
But my dad said to me, still, just because it's your own shit doesn't mean you have to eat it. Right, so there's a difference.
I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this scenario. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I mean,
but I'm just saying. But it's the same. You can levy that same thing with Kane. Yes, he's a product of our academy. He's a Spurs fan. He's part of the institution. But you have to take accountability and responsibility for yourself to nurture your ambition and fulfill it.
But he tried to leave 3 years ago, Maz, and he couldn't.
He should have pushed harder.
Do you know what, Stale? Do you know what I find the worst out of all of this is that our chairman hasn't backed. We all know the story. He hasn't done anything for our club. Blah 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 blah. Got rid of Kane or whatever. And do you know what? Half of these fans, be it rational ones or the irrational ones or whatever, it's all focuses on. We all don't like Harry Kane and what he's saying and what he's doing now, and letting that bastard off free.
What? Did you repeat that one more time?
Said no hassle at Levy whatsoever. It's all kind of moved on to let's all have a go at Kane kind of thing.
Yeah,
no, but
JP, say nothing.
No, JP. For me, it doesn't change the fact that I know it's evident as to why, for me at least, it's evident why Harry Kane has chosen to leave. Because it's the reasons why he left will be the reason why I would leave if I was at that club. So I completely and utterly get it. But if he chose to stay silent for as long as he has, then leave. Now he's at the club where it will completely fulfill him as a win, as you know, that winning mentality, win trophies and stuff like that. Carry on with that. You don't need to speak out unless you're going to reveal something that I don't know. What he has said didn't need to be said because we know the reasons. So why revisit? Unless there was a hint of bitterness.
I think there is bitterness.
Unless something in him, you know, because Spurs are flying right now, he's almost he's almost upset
Iggy,
that things are going too well without him. Maybe.
Iggy, you know, according to Stowe, he's the ultimate
I just don't think
professional.
he needed to say it.
According to Stowe, he's the ultimate professional.
I never said ultimate. I never said ultimate.
Listen, I understand when he had 3 or 4 years in his contract and the whole thing came about. I understand that if he puts a transfer request and it doesn't get accepted, it puts him in a little shitty place with the Tottenham fans, which is what happened really when you think about it with that Gary Neville interview. You know, when he and that whole Nuno situation when he came back and played away to
down
Wolves.
tools.
He down tools. It was a little bit. I'm thinking if he handed a transfer request, he tried.
Turned against him then.
I turned against him then. I was the only one.
No, I get it.
That's my point.
That's my point. Asking him to do that.
I didn't because I knew.
Not the fans.
I knew.
Will Stewart did.
I knew why he was doing it. No, there was a lot of fans that were pissed off at the fact they down tools. There's no two way. It took a few goals to completely forget everything about it. But we knew then he tried to force a move in his own way. He did try to do it.
But that's got to be the weakest way.
And it got him in trouble. I just don't
understand.
understand.
A coward way. That's what I'm saying.
It's the most coward way ever to try and force a move.
All I'm saying, Iggy.
Bad advice, Mayad, by his agent and the people around him was clearly badly advised.
Iggy, all I'm saying is kind of like my point being, Kane's come out and said there's no pressure there. There's a hell of a lot of pressure to win here, rather than fans going, well, why haven't we got pressure to win? Why isn't that mentality here?
The two clubs cannot be compared.
No,
Munich are an absolute elite club in Europe. Who
fine, but we should still be having that mentality here, right?
But we don't. It's been 23 years that we've not had that mentality.
We just
when was the last time we had that? No, I'm not saying they accepted it, Debbie. When was ever that mentality at Spurs? When was the last time you felt that there was that mentality there?
And then we're blaming Kane now for not bringing that.
No, I'm not. I don't blame Kane for what he said. I just find it a bit shitty, like the timing of it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. There's no logic to me.
Even if he has a dig, personally, I say fair enough. He's had a dig, and we should be having a go at the board in saying.
But why is he having a dig at us though? He should be having a dig at Levy. That's my point. No, when he says Tottenham, he's not. Hold on. When he says Tottenham, yes, he is. When he says Tottenham, he's talking about his teammates. He's talking about the fans. He's talking about the club.
No, that's you looking for.
No, that's 100%. We are Tottenham. I am Tottenham. You are Tottenham. No. The players are Tottenham. Everybody's Tottenham, right?
Kane. I backed Kane.
No.
I went to the protest.
If he's having a dig at Levy, he needs to say Levy. This is why I call out YouTubers by name, because only cowards say generalizations.
No, this is wrong. The guy was in the stadium.
Right, 100% right.
No, it's not. You're wrong, because at the end of last season, he was in the stadium, and half of that stadium was chanting, "Daniel Levy, we want you to go. We want Levy out." The balloons on the pitch. He knows how the fans felt, Will. So he's not directing it at us. He knows.
Yes, not all the fans do that. That's a minority of the fans. We whine and cry about the fact that the Levy out movement is a small minority of the fans, and the rest of the fans are dummies, right?
In the stadium, they don't see it.
But no. I'm sorry. When I say Tottenham, right? When I'm talking about the company, if I say the company's name, I'm talking about the company as a whole. If the company is good, or the company, I respect the company, but I don't respect the CEO. I mentioned the CEO out by name. That's how you do it. When he says the word Tottenham, he's talking about all of us.
No, he's
Sorry.
not.
But that's
Yes,
but
he
that's
is.
your that's your thinking. It's not my thinking.
No, it is.
Who
Tottenham.
here-
Tottenham is literally the general
don't
term for
think-
everyone associated with
So
Tottenham.
it always goes back
I'm a
to
Tottenham fan. I'm not.
Who
Tottenham.
here thinks Harry Kane was calling out the fans?
Are
Not
fans
me.
not a part of the club?
No, I'm asking the question. What do people think here? I don't think he was.
I don't think he was calling out the
I
fans.
just thought, like I
No,
said,
he's calling out Tottenham as a whole.
Yeah, but you're including the fans in that.
Are
I
the
don't
fans
think-
not a part of Tottenham?
But
I don't
the thing
think-
is,
I
though,
don't think he was referring to us
still-
as part of that. No.
Tottenham,
but-
no, it's Tottenham
but-
as a whole that no one's really upset when they lose 3 in a
Not
row.
even the fans.
yeah, so he is calling out the fans because the fans.
The Dortmund
How can-
fans hold, or the Bayern Munich fans hold him accountable too.
Because,
Yeah,
check this out, because Bayern Munich's fans, they're notorious, like Real Madrid fans. They want to fire Ancelotti, and he just got Champions League, right?
100% calling out the fans too.
Right. So it's
To be fair, I think actually, do you know what? I've changed my mind because we did a video saying disgrace when all the fans went for a drink and JP was going around doing a
There you
video. So
go.
maybe he was right.
Right.
Maybe he was right.
I am
I
right.
had an epiphany. I just had
You
an
know,
epiphany.
you know,
Was he calling us out?
mind you, we have fan
Maybe
base
he
that's
was.
we prefer pretty football rather than trophies. In our fan base, we have a good fraction.
That's
of
the
people we
pressure.
know. And people we know who
You know what,
say
he is-
That's the
Marley.
pressure. So he's
I
calling
agree,
out
Will.
the fans.
I'll take it.
I agree with Will.
Take it back. I
Mic
agree
drop,
with
Will. Leave.
Our fan base.
Yeah.
In
I
our
Can't
agree.
fan
drop
base.
it. It's stuck on a thing.
In our
Okay,
fan
he's not talking. Okay, he's not talking to Will, JP, Stell, Iggy.
He's not talking to the
Nice.
protesters. He's not talking to us, Brian Daigle, Danny Cipriano, Ryan Graham. He's not talking to the protesters. Phil P. He's not talking to us.
Listen, I think you lot are giving Kane's intelligence far too much credit.
I agree.
The guy wasn't
I
even
agree.
allowed to go back to Hotspur Way to clear his locker when he left.
That's right, we'll
He wasn't even
DHL it
allowed
to him.
thank-
Yeah, because
And
Daniel
you're
Levy was
asking him- and
butthurt
you're
that his
asking-
girlfriend broke
listen,
up with
and you're
him.
asking-
That's how it
Iggy,
is.
You're
that's
asking him
no
not- You're
different.
asking him not to have a dig.
Listen,
can't he
if
have a
I
dig?
got
No, I don't have a problem with any of that, but call him out. Say
Call Levy out. Exactly.
what
Mention
he
him by
doesn't want
name.
to do is jeopardize a possible return to the Premier League. Even Spurs.
he
Even
ain't coming back
Spurs.
to us, mate. No, after
I
that,
don't think,
you know, what you-
I don't
if
think
you
he is.
if you
I don't
asked
think he is.
100% of the Spurs fan base right now, after he's made that comment, what do you think he's ever coming back to this club?
Yeah, but that
What do you think
that
the
will be
percentage
acting
of
on
the
emotion.
Spurs fans will say? No,
Acting on
yes, it's
emotion.
definitely not
If you
coming
ask
back.
him right now,
With Alan Sugar,
ask him in 2 years' time.
No,
the answer
I
will
think
be
they'll say he's coming back
we
because
said
they
that
want him to
about
come
Gareth
back. Right?
We said that about
Did
Gareth
Alan-
Bale.
did
Yeah,
Alan
but Gareth Bale
Sugar-
never
Yeah,
said what he
Gareth-
said, though.
Did
Gareth
Alan
Bale went on
Sugar
strike.
take back
Gareth Bale
Cantona
went on
after,
strike.
after wiping his shirt with a car? Right?
Gareth
And
Bale
like-
wants to
look,
strike, and then at the end he left it. Hotspur Way. I was there, man. He wasn't.
Then he faked
refused
a
to
toe
train.
injury. Then he faked a toe
Yeah,
injury at the end of
yeah.
the strike. I remember.
Listen, the,
Yeah,
the money
but
made it
he
sweeter.
got his way
I've
out, didn't he?
forgotten.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
Gareth Bale
sometimes
wanted to go. He left. Harry
He
Kane
didn't do it
wanted to
during an
go.
active
He stuck
season
around.
either.
Listen, it's simply because Kane is so tied to the club and some of these fans. That's why it feels a lot more bitter and a lot more hard to take. Anyone else but
He's
him,
one of our
it's
own.
a lot
Is
harder.
there
Yeah,
anything,
exactly,
Lee?
exactly.
Lee, is
Listen,
there
I've
anything
got
that
more.
you read?
I've got better things to worry about than Kane actually putting together 3 sentences. You know, I've got to worry about what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow. That's how much I care about
my
it.
question from the beginning has been this: is there anything that he said in that statement that needed to be said that we didn't know already? Then, if the answer is no, then why come out with it now?
Yeah,
Because
if
some
he's
fans
No,
need to
I
hear
agree.
it.
if he's going around
Some
telling his
fans need to
girlfriends
hear
that his ex-boyfriend has got a small pee-pee, I'm fine. That doesn't matter, right? They're just his girlfriends. He probably told him at the time, right? It's not a big deal. But there's no reason to go on Jerry Springer and say it, is there? Right? There's a difference between telling your girlfriends that you got a micro pee-pee and then going on Jerry Springer and saying it, right?
All right, let me ask you a question, right? And then we'll end this because we've done an hour and 5 minutes. We haven't done the other topics, right? Just to end it. Is anyone upset or bothered that he said this? My answer is no.
No,
No, couldn't care less.
No.
couldn't give it.
All right,
Couldn't give
cool.
two flying
All right,
shits about it. I haven't watched a single game since he left Spurs. I haven't watched him play a single game.
Yeah, you guys get Jerry Springer in the UK, right? Yeah, it was popular.
Yeah.
Not for a few years
Used
now,
to.
but
Yeah, it's been off the air, I think, for a while.
Jerry.
Jerry.
I haven't seen him play once since he left Spurs. Honestly, I caught the highlights of the England game the other night, but that's it. That's it.
And you're not bitter, Iggy.
No, it's not about being bitter. It's just once a Spurs player leaves Spurs to go and play somewhere else, my interest in that player is lost.
To be fair, I don't really watch
I'm a Spurs
Bundesliga anyway, so
supporter,
I'm not going to
not a
start
Kane
now.
supporter.
Huh?
Listen, everyone watching the show, there's almost 300 of you. Please smash the like. It helps the channel so much. And also, a quick reminder, the Content Awards, we're trying to win the only award we think we can win.
We ain't going to fucking win that. We ain't going to fucking win that. I'm embracing the loser mentality that we have at Tottenham. We ain't fucking winning
no
that.
pressure.
No fucking pressure winning that. If we win, we're great. We'll enjoy it.
It's fans like you. It's fans like you why Kane left.
Yeah,
mentality.
If we win that award, I want Stell to go there wearing that hat to the award ceremony, and I want him to take selfies with Don Robbie from AFTV.
Can I say, I only want to win the award for one reason, right? I only want to win it for one reason, because then we have to get called up to the main stage in front of all the other big YouTubers to do a speech, and I want to cook. I want to cook people. So I don't care about the award. I just want to voice.
Let me save you the trouble. We ain't fucking winning that.
There's the link down there, guys. The equality, diversity, inclusion. We've got all backgrounds on this show. We've got all regions covered. Show some love.
And a wide range in the audience.
We won't win the diversity bit because I can't dance. So,
for anyone that doesn't get the joke, there's a dance band in the UK called Diversity. So, all right, the next subject I want us to discuss. So, I got into this debate with someone online, and then so many people waited.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocked, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah, fucking hell. Devastated.
In back less than a week. And a lot of people weighed in on it. And I had quite a few private messages still calm it down with Paratici. And I'm like, no. So we're going to have the debate and decide what we think. Quick super chat, by the way. Big up Dilla Spurs. Kane
I already won that debate over on Alan's channel. So.
Kane said what needs to be said since he's at a different club now. I think his mentality around winning has been the same. He just wanted to win at Tottenham. He put up the numbers to do so as well. Then Spurs, we just had an hour debate on it, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for sharing your opinion.
Agree, man.
So look, Paratici, right? Is he a success? Are we now seeing the fruits, the rewards of his fruits and all the hard work he's put in? So this is the way I look at it, and then let's discuss it. So I put together this list of players he signed, and I put them into columns: good, undecided, and bad. Just so people know, this isn't my opinion. This is what I think most fans think. For example, I would put Kulu in good, but I think most fans are divided on him. Some people would put Chicken Royale in bad, but some fans defend him. So the way I look at it is, a third of his signings are good, or maybe some of them it's too soon to put them in good. A third are undecided. We're undecided. And a third are bad. So if you go by this, and if we agree to this, maybe we can move a couple around. Maybe some haven't been given a fair chance. But if you go by this is average. Some good, some bad. And this is exactly what he did at Juventus. And this is what I said when we first brought him in. 50% will be good, 50% will be bad. This is what he did at Juve. So I don't get the hype. When I look at the signings he made this summer, I'd say out of these, 3 have proven to be really good so far. Vicario, Madison, and Van de Ven. And I criticised Vicario, so I've got that one wrong. Phillips, we don't know.
I'll include the Doji. He's not in that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Doji should be in as well. It was 4. You're right, Iggy.
Brendan Johnson, we don't know.
Johnson, we don't know. Veliz, we don't know. Solomon, hit or miss. He wasn't great in the Carabao Cup that we lost. So, again, it's 50-50. When I look at the Carabao Cup night, the team that started, you had Royale, Van de Ven, Solomon, Perisic, and Richarlison. So half the squad that started, that lost, that played shit, were his signings. So for me, just looking at it like that, the way I presented it, maybe you'd present it differently. I think Paratici has done an average job. I don't think he's rubbish, but I don't think he's this brilliant. Wow, look what he's now doing for us. I'm like, some are hits, some are misses, but what do you make of it, Iggy? What do you think of Paratici? Do you think he's above average? Do you think he's below? Or do you think, the guy's just average?
It's really hard to evaluate his. It's really tough to evaluate his work because those players were brought in. Some of those players were brought in for one manager, and now they're you've got another lot that brought in for this manager, and then you got kind of half of those players.
Did they work for that manager? Did Longley work for Conte? Did Jed Spence work for Conte? Did Galini work for?
Well, Jed Spence
Jose?
was never wanted by Conte.
Galini worked for Jose.
Golini for me is no different to what Fraser Foster is. It's just backup goalies. Brian Hill was always been a waste of time for us, although he's done well back in Spain.
But they played in the cup games that we lost.
Brian Hill didn't play.
No, the goalies did. Galini cost us the cup against Norwich, and Foster played against Fulham in the Carabao Cup the other night. We lost.
Foster was good during the match. He wasn't good on a penalty shootout, but he was decent. I thought he actually
and in his first season, we were saying on this very show that he was one of our best players.
All I'm trying to say, some of those signings that you see, and bring up the list, man. Some of those signings that you see there, right? You won't truly get like now. You won't know some of those players like Royale, Kulusevski, like you won't truly know until this season with this manager. I don't think it's really hard to evaluate.
That's why they're in the undecided. That's why they're undecided.
Bissouma, up until last season, he was a shit signing. We knew that he's quality, but he hadn't turned out to be the real deal.
Well,
only
he was
now we're beginning. Yeah, I know, but we're now Romero. Now we're seeing the Romero, Papa Sarr. Well, do you know what I mean? We wouldn't have known that those players are getting judged on what's happening now.
But Richarlison last season, this season, shit.
Okay, but that's one player. But some of the other players on the right hand side, they've all gone, man. They've all gone.
Yeah, but exactly. These are Paratici signings. They came in and they left.
Listen, it's a tough one for me, man, because we've had how many managers we had since he's been in charge? We've had Nuno. We've had Conte, and now we've got Postecoglou. It's hard to evaluate. Everyone was shit last season.
Were those signings good under Conte? Were they good under Nuno? Were they good under Jose?
But we was completing disarray. We like last season, for example,
because of the signings, right? Because of the signings.
You could say they were all bad signings because they were for wrong managers.
I can't. Listen, I'm not defending Paratici. I'm just trying to.
Is this an Italian thing?
No, of course it is. No. Listen, if I genuinely thought it was all on him.
If he was Greek, they'd all be in the good.
No. I'm a fan of Postecoglou. I'm a fan of. What I'm trying to say is some of those players, like I don't like some of those players that we signed didn't make sense to me, like the Spence, Longley. I'm really sure that Longley wasn't playing. I don't understand it. I can't imagine Conte going, bring me Longley, bring me Brian Hill. I can't. I just even as bad as he might.
That's because he didn't. That's because he didn't. It was the job of Paratici. This is why this is about Paratici.
Who brought in Madison? Do you think Madison brought Paratici?
No, I don't even. Hold on. I think everybody is begging the question that Paratici was involved in the summer signings this year as much as people are giving him credit for it. There's only 2 actual reports of people that we have signed that Paratici had any involvement with at all. And that's Vicario. And Madison.
Both good signings.
Madison, we actually were linked with Madison back all the way since 2018, right? So we've been trying to bring him in for a long time. So can you really give Paratici credit for that? I mean, honestly, no.
I don't know. Right? But this is the point where I don't know who signs our players.
That's what I'm saying. But so the only ones that you can say were actually Paratici signings or confirmed is Pedro Porro, Kulusevski, Romero, Bissouma, Doji, Rodrigo, Perisic, Royal, Sarr, Richarlison, Spence, Danjuma, Forster, Langley, Gill, and Galini. And in that list, 6 are good, 3 are average, and 7 are bad.
Would you say Bentancur, Benkulu, where he signed?
Yeah.
They're the ones I know that I can have only hand on heart.
Those are the ones who were
those 2 players
while he was actually employed. Because right now he's just in a consulting role. We don't know what that looks like.
We don't know
how involved he is.
What does that mean?
Right? Vicario, because he's Italian, there's a link there.
Will, the fact we don't have a football director says to me that he's still working at it, just under the
Working
auspices
at
of
what?
thing.
Saying, hey, he's not the one signing stuff. He's not the
He
one
never
calling and
signs.
making calls and
Yeah, but
dealing
he's
with
probably
players.
giving names.
If he just
He's-
says, hey,
yeah,
take a look at
he's-
this guy, or this guy might be good, but he's not responsible for getting these deals over the line. He can't be.
No,
He's barred
Levy's
from
always
it.
responsible. Levy's always responsible. The chairman's signature goes on the check.
Yeah, but kind of like normally he would
Talking
go
about
out
the
and have
work
the,
of the
go
deal,
out,
going out and
go out
talking
and
to him,
have the
convincing him.
conversation,
Yeah.
everything like that.
I
Talk
think
to him
the-
about the project and this is the style and
players-
this is what we'll do.
The players that came from Serie A, I can probably give him the credit for that. But outside of that, I don't know many of those.
I told you we signed last year, so that's not this year's
Yeah.
signing anyway.
I'm
right?
saying those players from Serie A, I think he had a hand on them. I get that, but outside of that, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you because it's all cloak and dagger, man. I don't know.
Paul
Is the answer
Copeland,
to that.
Paul Copeland just put up a comment at 4:45 or whatever your guys' time is. Better signings than under Poch, at least. No, what are you talking about? Paul Mitchell signings under
Not with Paul
Pochettino
Mitchell.
were way better, light years over the signings that Paratici made. Now, come on.
Maybe the
Dembele.
hitching. Maybe the
Of
hitching.
course, the hitching.
part.
Yeah, but just hey, look, if my girlfriend is better looking than the hooker on the corner, that's different than the meth cooker on the corner.
We need to
That's
stop this
different than her
girlfriend
being
analogy.
a runway model.
Everything's
Because-
about penises, hookers.
Because of PP.
What's up with you,
Because the
man?
analogies hit in people's mind instantly. You immediately get the point, right? Just because my girl's better looking than the meth prostitute on the corner doesn't mean she's as good looking as the supermodel,
God,
right?
And that's got nothing to do with your PP.
It's a tu quoque fallacy. Like people get mad when I say tu quoque fallacy, so I switch it up into provocative analogies that people get right away. Same concept, right? We're not comparing whether Paratici hasn't been better than some of our horrible people in the past. We're talking about what has Paratici done, right? What the other people did is irrelevant to how good or bad Paratici has been in his job. Right? That's what I'm saying. People always make these fallacies of comparing and contrasting. It's called a false equivalency and or a tu quoque fallacy, right? Where you base your opinion on this person because they're better than this. Well, okay, that's like me saying, you know what? Donald Trump's better than Hitler, so I'll vote for him, right? Like, come on, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, but the
You
reason
have
I'm
to
asking
judge
about
the individual
Paratici-
based on what they are.
The reason I'm asking about Paratici is because this is one of the people that contacted me today. Right, I'm good friends with Ryan, top boy. He actually believes Paratici's cooking. So I said to him, like, Ryan, okay,
It's factually not true.
Cooking.
Maybe
These are the players
cooking, but he
signed.
hasn't cooked.
These are the players that have been signed. How long has he been here for? 4 years, Paratici? 3 years?
Richard, I have
Three,
no
I
idea,
think.
mate.
Probably
I have
about
no
three,
idea.
I think.
This reminds me exactly what he did at Juve. At Juve, there wasn't lots of managers coming in and out. It was pretty consistent, the managers there. And he did something similar. The difference was maybe there was it a guy called Monero that was in charge ahead of Paratici?
Marotta. He's
Marotta,
at
that's
Milan now.
So Paratici didn't have full control, but Paratici was Juve at the time roughly had the same type of outcome.
It was understudy. It was his understudy for a few years. It was his
Mm.
understudy there.
Well,
Then once Marotta left, and he took over.
Marotta had a 50-50 record there. And I personally think that's the same I'm seeing at Spurs. For every Udogi, we sign a chicken row. For every Basuma,
46.9% to be
we
technical.
sign a Solomon.
36, it's 36 something, isn't it?
46.9%.
46, yeah.
What's that percentage?
The success rate
Oh.
of signings.
Lee, Maz, Mari, what's your take on Paratici? What do you guys think about it?
I'll go
You don't
really
want me
quick.
talking about hookers and you don't want me to be specific with numbers. I don't know what to do.
I don't want to have to
Can't
start
win with this a
comparing
lot, I tell you
lengths with Will because I'll win. But anyway, I'm gonna really quickly say that come back and ask me this question in 6 months before the next transfer window. Once we've got some time to see these other guys, then we can say, because the balance may swing either way, right? I think it's too early to say. But a couple of those that you've put in there, like Kulu, we know he's had a dip last night, man of the match performance, right? Perisic, we know the quality that guy's got. He's just been played out of position. He could have done a much better for us. We don't know about Phillips. Solomon's a bit on and off. We don't know Johnson. We don't know Villiers. All of those could go over to the left, right? And that swings it in his favour. So
Yeah.
I think it's too early to tell, really, right now. And likewise, touch wood, not Will's wood, but some kind of wood, that any of those guys on the left
Too small.
could
You
have
miss.
an absolute dog shit next 6 or 7 games, right? And they could go completely off the boil, and they go over. It's just too many variables.
So, Lee, what you're saying is he's been here for 3 years and we can't judge him yet.
I don't think you can judge him on that list until some of them we've seen how good or bad some of them are, because that could swing it into a position where it's actually he's done better than a 50-50, if you like. So
Yeah, but that's irrelevant to whether he's been a success so far, right? Whether he's successful in the future is yet to be seen, because it's the future.
What if we take?
But you can't. I can't base the success of people that we've put in an undecided pot that we don't know what they're like yet.
All right, Lee, let's do this. Lee, let's do this. Let's take the new ones like Veliz, Johnson, Solomon, Phillips out of it. So let's just leave Porro, Perisic, Kulu, Royale. You'd probably say Royale's more likely to go bad. Kulu's more likely to go good. Perisic, okay,
he'll be gone in the summer.
He'll be gone in the summer. Porro probably good. So let's say you end up. It looks like it'll be 60-40 in favour of good.
Yeah, not too far off what he did it. What you were saying is a 50-50.
So is he great then? Is he as good as everyone's hyping him up?
My problem with this type of analysis is you're just looking at, it's like a univariate analysis, right? You're just looking at one variable, like signings. Is he good or bad, right? I think you have to look at everything, and when you look at everything, the structure he put in place has been ripped up and thrown in the bin, so that's bad. The first 2 managers he brought in, he failed them, right? And then by proxy, by him failing them, that means he bought them the wrong players, you could argue, right? And then there's other variables that we can discuss, which we've done before. But on the balance of all of those variables, he's a failure.
100%.
And he got put in prison, or not put in prison, got sacked because of, illegal
100%. And I'm not. And I did a really good debate with Jay over on Time Added on Alan's channel. I don't know if anybody's seen it, where I completely destroyed this argument utterly. With it's a more. I don't talk about hookers, so it's not as fun.
Mari, how do you feel? What's the hooker situation in Miami, Murray? What's it like down there in the
probably better than the Northeast, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Much
better quality.
Murray knows. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Murray knows.
You walked right into that one.
Yeah, 100%. It's different gravy around there, mate.
Florida is the home of OnlyFans models and Pornhub models. Not only their headquarters is in Miami.
What's happening tonight? What is going on? What is happening tonight?
Vote for us, guys. You got the link in the description below.
Right, make sure you subscribe to onlyfans.com/@TottenhamAwayTV. Be coming up soon.
Yeah, and don't forget the diversity award. We're going for it.
It's got inclusion. It's got inclusion in there, right? We want to include the prostitutes and the porn stars. We're inclusive.
Paratici is no job in my book. Because he's a man.
Fucking winning that.
He's a man.
Not now. We're not. No.
So
I saw the future.
I call Paratici Paratici or meh Paratici, because it's just been really mediocre. There's some hits, and there's some misses. The hit was Romero. Romario, the Brazilian. Romero, what's another hit? Let me see that list again, quickly. My brain. Bentancur was a hit. Udoji, I think, is a hit. So far, VDVs is good. Basuma, like I said, so far, it's been good. Madison is great. The undecideds is I agree with all of them.
I think you have far too many undecideds. But
yeah, the bottom 3 has to eventually play, so they rightly so. I would put Royale as bad, in my opinion. I would leave Perisic as undecided and Kulu. And then on the bad, yeah, everybody there. Maybe Brian Hill could be good. No, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to get a reaction. But no, it's just,
Harry Kane could buy Daniel Levy a birthday present too.
it's just been meh, Paratici. Just meh. You know. Oh, Poro has been.
Poro's been good.
Yeah, it's been good.
I don't know why he's undecided bit. What's that?
He's not undecided.
About?
There's a lot. I'll give you guys the list that I gave in my debate. So basically, we have 6 good, 3 average, 7 bad. The good players are Poro, Kulusevski, Romero, Basuma, Doji, Bentancur. The average players are Perisic, Royal, Sarr. Madison is, first of all, not. We don't even know if that's a Paratici signing or not, right? So I'm only going from confirmed Paratici signings, people that we know Paratici signed for a fact.
How do we know?
Huh?
How do we
Because
know?
he worked here. That's why he's the one in charge of signing players. That's how we know.
He was here during the summer.
He's as the director of football. His responsibility, his job title is to take care of all footballing matters. No one was signed without Paratici's fingers in it while he was here.
He handed in his
here in
notice.
the summer.
He handed in his notice, didn't he?
Yeah, he got sacked in January last year.
Kind of like when all that kerfuffle happened, he handed in his notice.
Came back on an advisory role over the summer.
No. Consulting. The only news report that you can dissociate that with is 1 or 2 Football.London saying that Paratici has been used in some sort of consulting role. It doesn't say you that he's the one responsible for signing players. All it says is that has been consulting the club.
So Vicario's got nothing. So he
Vicario. Well, okay. There are links, right? Other reports that saying while Paratici was still employed with the club that he has been interested and/or following Vicario. So you can tie that one to him possibly, right? James Madison as well. You can say there's a report that says this is all the report says. Paratici was fond of James Madison, but James Madison we've been scouting since 2018. He's been linked with us, solid links since 2018.
Maybe Conte didn't want him. It's possible that
Conte maybe didn't want him, but
or maybe Spurs didn't want to spend 70 million when they can get him for 40 now.
Maybe
sure, that could be a reason too. But what I'm saying is you can only you can't verify that Paratici is responsible for signing those players. The players that you can, right? Because it's not fair to give him credit for or criticism for players we can't verify that he is responsible for. But the players that we know he's responsible for, right, you can. And based on those, that was the good list. The average list is Perisic, Royal, Sarr, right? And then you have Sarr's been really good this season, but last season he didn't play a whole lot and he was still in the question. So based on his performances on the pitch, he's still in the average. The bad players are Richarlison, Spence, Danjuma, Forster, Langley, Brian Hill, Galini. So the bad list is the same as the bad list you have. But I think that there are more in the positive. If you look at their performances on the pitch based on a statistical rating, SofaScore, FOTMOP, whatever, how they've performed over that period of time, it's 6, 3 to 7. So basically you could say good. If good equals success, then you've got 9 or 10 versus 6, which is a lot lower percentage, right? That's what, 40%. And then if you don't count the average players against them because they may or may not turn out to be good players, that's a 46.9%. Yeah. Wrapped up.
Does anybody else have anything to say? Actually, there's something I do want to add. What do we think of this signing? I don't know if this is a Paratici signing or a club signing. Will, is there a link to so we know if this is Paratici or the club or someone else? Or
16-year-old.
But that's got like apparently they get Perisic, didn't they?
Well, all I know is.
What do you mean? Is this Paratici? Why would Paratici be involved with a 16-year-old Croatian?
Because he's joined Spurs.
But Paratici doesn't work for Spurs.
He's a consultant, though, isn't he? So I'm asking you, do you think...
Okay, so we're the 3 betting clubs. The 3 betting clubs that apparently turned our transfer system into a database one because Levy had a meeting with 3 betting clubs.
Well, I want to come on to that in a minute, actually, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on this, right? So Tottenham are they have signed him now. What does Fabrizio Romano mean when he says a top project for his development? What was different to his development than any other player's development to make it a top project? And
he's staying at Hadjic Split.
So we're not even going to see him till another 2 years. So what would you make of this? Do we care? Is it just, whatever.
Well, how do we know
It's
that our
fun for the
manager now
future.
is going to last for longer than 18 months? Because all of the rest of them before haven't, apart from a few.
So he's
I'd
staying there till
subsiding.
he's 18 or what? Because he's in the U18s right now, right? So
It's likely that
Yeah, but I think
will
he's only
remain at
16, isn't he?
and join Tottenham when he's 18
Yeah.
in February 2025.
So February. Okay, gotcha. So that's a weird date to.
For me, I just hope, I mean, I kind of like those type of signings. If it's developed, if we could develop that player, for example, him being Croatian, you're hoping, you're dreaming that he's the next Guardiola, or or the next Kroos.
Pound signs, isn't it?
Yeah, the hype on this kid's big. But...
He's thinking of pound signs, isn't he, Levy?
I think it's a good signing. I just think with good development and stuff like that, hopefully, like I said, he could be the next Guardiola. Or
how many of these young signings, Mari, have we made and actually ever?
Yeah, he's playing in the first division over there, right? So that's better than playing in our U21s. To be fair.
Yeah.
Right. I'd rather have been playing first team football over there than sitting in our U21s. Or,
To be fair,
U18s.
I don't remember
Jack Clark, Jed Spence, young, promising players. In out.
Yeah, but they sat in our U18s. That's my point, right?
English players.
Doji stayed over. He's turned out all right. Sar stayed over. He's turned out all right. Let him stay over there and then bring him back when he's actually, so we don't ruin him
when they turn good.
What I'm kind of happy is that we are kind of signing outside of England for youth. We signed Veliz from Argentina. I mean, he wasn't highly rated, but rated. Signing a Croatian. So this is kind of good. I kind of like that we're signing youth outside of the UK. Nothing against the UK, but it's just gotta see how it pans out. But I'm happy. I like this. I mean, we haven't signed.
They're overrated anyway, Mari, and you have to pay additional for them and stuff.
Yeah, we haven't signed a South American straight out of South American. When we signed Belize, I was shocked. I'm like, whoa, we finally recruited combo players. I'm not talking about those who played in Europe already. I'm talking about coming straight from from the combo region. I'm trying to think of when's the last time. Was it Carter Vickers is the last one we signed from the CONCACAF region? Well,
he's English, right? We didn't sign him from CONCACAF region, right? In fact, he didn't become a CONCACAF player until after he had already been playing for Spurs. So it's a bit different. But the fact that we're not that we haven't signed any American players in a long time is, well, I mean, it's just, you're hurting yourself, really. So
I'm going to play villain.
How many people are watching still?
260.
260 watching. We're close to 5K.
We're 11 away.
Subscribe.
We're 11 away. So if any of you guys who haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us.
Hit the subscribe button and make sure you vote for us in the diversity awards, which we are really pushing for now. We think we can win it. Iggy's against us, but we think we can prove Iggy wrong. We can do it.
I was just going to say about this. That's right. I was just going to say about this kid. I've got
losers mentality.
Right, I'm not being. You're not being inclusive, Iggy. You're talking over me. Stop it. You're not getting any award. I'm sending me mug back.
We ain't winning it.
Cool. I'm just going to say that I've no doubt that this kid's been scouted and he's going to be a talent, etc. But when you get a comment come out saying there's a host of top clubs that were after him, and some of them even put, bids in of £12 million and stuff like that, and then he comes out and says, "I only wanted Tottenham." I've got to question that statement. I really have.
Maybe he was a Luka Modric fan as a boy and he wants to play for Tottenham.
Maybe he was. But you got, I mean, some of the names that have been thrown out there are like, are proper good clubs with, good development, good youth systems, and yet I only wanted Tottenham. I mean,
Man City win.
Has he been brainwashed that early that it's just like, no, Tottenham's the only place I ever want to go? Yeah, I think he's. I think that's.
He probably feels
he's been groomed.
He probably feels more than likely he's going to get a game with us, Lee.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But if you're that, listen, if you're that good, it doesn't matter about age. Look at Van der Ven. You know, look at Phillips, who brought up to the first team. Dorrington. If you're that good, age doesn't matter.
Maybe we'll
You
joke
see that goal
aside.
he
He's
scored on the halfway
he's
line?
seen it as an opportunity
He's
for
already
young
got-
players. For young
He's
players.
already got the Terry Butcher look.
No, I'm saying
Well,
maybe he
let's
saw
see.
it
Let's
as an
just totally
opportunity
do
for
him.
young players. You know,
He's got the.
Let's just treat him right. That's all I can. That's all I hope.
I want to jump on something that I saw on Twitter, which I got thinking. No. I'm not Mari from Miami, right? Don't confuse me with my brother Mari.
Mari from Miami.
Orlando, to be exact, but
Alex, how you doing? I'll come to you in a minute. Welcome. I know you want to talk about Paratici. You can't wait, so just wait a few minutes, and then you can have your say. Something that Tommy said. Big up, by the way, Tommy from Hotspur Hood, top guy, top channel. Make sure you go like, subscribe over there. I read what he said. I thought about it, and I thought, do you know what? Hold on a minute. Has he got a point? Tell me what you think. He said, "Don't give me this rubbish that Levy is going down the Brighton route by signing teenagers like Vuskovic, Phillips, and Veliz. Brighton's model is under the radar. Players usually 22 to 26 years old, with the odd teenager and over 35 years old, all capable of playing Premiership football straight away." He's got a point, isn't he?
100% he's got a point. And this comes down to the absolute logical fallacy that people think that we are making our signings now based on some data approach. You can go ask Alex. I sent him the screenshot. You can go on LinkedIn right now and you can find the club looking to hire a data analyst. We don't even have one at the club, right? So Daniel Levy going to talk with 3 betting companies, by the way. I'm putting together some model of how we could possibly implement some data-based transfer system. Does not mean that we have one now. Go look it up. We do not even employ a data analyst at the club. We are it was posted to LinkedIn, well, I guess it would have been 10 or 12 days ago now that we were looking to hire one. So we don't have one yet. So none of the players that we've signed this summer have been based on some data-based signing, system. We're playing Moneyball. But no, we're not. We are not. We are not.
The only thing I would say to kind of with Tommy is that I just think in general, because I don't want to say there's certain age limit of players, because right now they're currently trying to sign one of the young best Argentine prospects in Barco for Boca Juniors, and he's only 19. And Man City looks like they're going to the next window hijack that move. And so if they're seriously looking to sign him for 10 mil, that is some quality signing by Brighton. So that's the only thing is I would put Brighton more of, they're probably most of their players they look at is the 22 to 26, but with them, they just scout good. It doesn't matter the age, 22, 23, 19, 17. It seems like they have found the formula how to scout.
Well, they actually have a data-based system. They play the Moneyball game. Them in Brentford. It's reported. Like, they even talk about it, right?
Yeah, so. And they perfected. It's not like a gimmick like Val Club, where it's just like, oh, we use the data. Like, this is like their Bible. This is like their ethos. Like, this is how they're going to scout and recruit players.
Yeah, they don't recruit players based off FIFA, but they do use statistics.
Yeah. Well, what makes me laugh is we're just going after this kind of data model, right? As a Spurs fan that I met at the protest, I had a beer with him, and he's actually a data analyst at Plymouth.
Oh, really?
And we're just getting to it now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We are anybody who wants can go look on LinkedIn if the job hasn't been filled yet.
Go apply.
It was posted eight days ago. I sent Alex the screenshots. Because he was getting hit with people who were trying to make that excuse now too. Look, just because Football London reports that Daniel Levy had a meeting with three betting companies doesn't mean that we're currently utilizing a database approach, especially when we don't even employ a data analyst. How can you have a database approach without a data analyst?
What do you say to this comment here, Will? Rubbish. Do you think one analyst is enough?
We don't have a data analyst. And it's a senior level position. It's not rubbish. It's absolute fact. We don't employ, right? Our performance analyst left, right, this summer, right? Our player performance person left, and our data. We've never employed a data analyst. So who's doing this data-based approach, right? Was Paratici pulling up Y Scout and looking at some players? I mean, come on, man. Seriously.
First team data analysis.
See?
Jesus Christ. Mr. Box Office, welcome to the channel. How you doing, brother?
It's also a job for a gardener. Iggy,
Alex,
I might apply for both.
Alex, have you applied for the job as the analyst or the gardener? That's all.
No, because I've got a proper job. A point is right now. I just need to say something right now. On this absolute rubbish about Paratici doing his work and he's done everything right. I'm sorry, he's got lucky with his signings. I'm sorry. The only thing I'm hearing at the moment now, which is coming out from everyone now, is that he's changed the philosophy at Tottenham Hotspur. He's changed it. He's got us getting loads of scouts, doing getting everybody sorting out the system and everything else. I'm not being funny, but that's a simple thing for a guy that should be doing this for well, he should be doing this like it's all. He should be doing this like he should be doing that like he always should be doing it like that. You know what I mean? It's a joke. You know what I mean? It's the only reason why everyone's going a big deal about it, because we haven't seen this before. You know, he got lucky at Juventus, right? And now he's bringing in good youngsters. Okay, they got prospects, but now I'm hearing the class of '92. Yeah, I'm hearing this guy that's coming in now. Yeah, he's the best since sliced bread. He's going to be in 2 years. It's a joke. We don't know. We've got the system in place to get these youngsters up. I don't even think we know what we're going to do with these youngsters. Okay, because the point is, what is the main objective of Tottenham Hotspur? Right, with these youngsters, are they there to bring up to the first team, right, or work on them, or do the Chelsea model and sell them on and make money out of them? I don't know what it is. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what it is.
Isn't it a good thing, Alex, that we are getting those youngsters in as opposed to not?
Yeah, we're getting in the youngsters, but the point is, though, we've not done well with youngsters before, even on the Poch. Even on the Poch.
So how do we
everyone's
change
going
that?
over the top, and they're putting pressure on these players as well. I'm hearing that Dorrington, he's the best since sliced bread. Oh, that's giving lots of confidence to him, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, if he does badly, you know what the thing is? We don't even know how to use these youngsters. And the thing is, though, the class of '92 had people that were looking up to or winning trophies. So how are you comparing them to the class of '92?
I don't think the two you can compare though with Man United. You can't compare with a class 92.
Well, no, but that's the point.
I think what we do have right now. No, what we do have is a manager that works well with youngsters or young players and molds them to the way that he wants them to play. That's what I'm thinking is why we started to operate more with youngsters.
The point I've been making so many times, though, he can't do this on his own. He can't do this on his own.
There's got to be a continuation. If this is the road we want to,
but the point is, you had Pochettino last time. You had Pochettino. You had Paul Mitchell. You had what's his name? Oh, John McDermott. Yeah, they worked in tandem. Yeah, that's why it worked. As soon as you have one out the door, it collapsed. You know what I mean?
Who's to blame for that, though, Alex?
Well, we know who's to blame, but the point is, it's just like this whole thing about, and the thing is, again, I come back to the whole point, and I will say this on Mr. Box Office TV, by the way, because I've been doing a lot of research on this, and by the way, Will's absolutely spot on with what he says about Brighton. He's absolutely spot on about the data analyst, because the guy that's the owner who's done well with it. He had a bloody company under him doing this. Yeah, he had it all planned in place already. So I don't know what the rubbish I'm hearing, and all I get from some Tottenham fans are, I'm going to be positive because we're actually doing something. Well, that don't say nothing to me. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, and it's not me being negative. It's just being real.
Alex,
it's being real.
Do you know what?
Would you say we're starting something?
You know what I mean? Are you understand what I'm trying to say? You understanding what I'm trying to say? I'm sorry, I was a bit
You've just reminded me something. You've just reminded me something. Right. So I've just had to find the email. Right. Okay. So on the 20th of September, Spurs have invited me into the academy, and it's the first time the new academy director, Simon Davies, is actually going to be involved in this. So normally when you go there, I think I've taken Iggy before. No, I have. Yeah, Iggy came with me once.
Yeah.
They take you into the auditorium and you actually go in depth of what the academy is supposed to do. They explain things. You get to ask questions, but the academy director is never there. Simon Davies has specifically requested he be involved in the coaching demonstration and to take the questions. So, what's your question? Because you know what I'm going to do, Alex. I'm going to ask your question to him when I go. Because it's in 2 weeks' time. Then I'll come back and get you on the show and I'll tell you what was said. What's the actual question you would ask him then?
I just need to know what their objectives are. What is the ultimate objective with these youngsters? Are they trying to do it like Chelsea, or trying to do a class of '92, or try and bring them up into the first team? Yeah, but as I said before, they can't. The Postecoglou cannot do it all on his own. He needs to have a work with everyone. Everyone's got to work in tandem. Yeah. And there needs to be a director of football. So either Scott Munn's, challenging this, or, and then there's people under him, and it's got to all work. You see what I'm saying? Again, it comes back to the fact, is Postecoglou going to be here for how many years to do this? Because like I said, the great Alex Ferguson went to, in 1992, went to Eric Harrison, and said, "This ain't good, mate. This ain't good." Changed it up straight away. Now I know Paratici's done what he's done, yeah. And by the way, someone in the chat saying that I got bantered by Jay. He didn't banter me at all. He just chatted a load of rubbish. By the way, and I'll talk to him on the top time I did on. Don't worry about it. Trust me on that, yeah, because his time's coming in terms of bantering him on this.
Just look at the geezer's name, Alex. Look at the geezer's name, man.
I know. But the point is,
I think that's a wicked name. I quite like it.
The point is, yeah, right? Is that I just think it's just going over the top, yeah, right? Where we do not have a clue at the moment. We're just going on Paratici's vision, right? Who, for me, I don't think he's got. I think he's only going with just because he's got the sources, he's got the know-how, and that's it. And that's all we're going on, and that's it. Yeah. So for me, I think it's still a lot to be desired at the moment. I think we just have to wait and see if this actually works, and that's it. Because the thing is, Brighton were experienced. They've done this for years now, right? From the start, had the plan in place from the start, right? Manchester United back in the 90s had a plan in place. Right, had the great Alex Ferguson, they had Eric Harrison, right, and they had everyone working to a T, right. I had a plan in place. They didn't stop, they didn't change anything, didn't panic or anything like that. Tottenham panicked how many years now? Yeah. So for me, there's a long way to go for me, and that's
Alex.
It.
Do you know what I will say though? And this isn't me.
Sorry if I'm not making any sense.
No. I get
will
what you're
say
saying.
It on my channel. I will talk about it on my channel because I've been eager to say it, but I'm too busy. But
Alex,
I'm eager to talk about this.
What I will say is this, right? So a few things. The Chelsea model actually, Roman wanted to shut down the Chelsea academy, and it was Ray Wilkins, the late Ray Wilkins, who I met at a FA conference, who talked him out of it. Because Abramovich said, "What's the point of the academy?" And they said to develop players and try and get them into the first team. He said, "Well, what's the point of that? I've got a checkbook. Just buy what you need. Shut down the academy." And he had a good point. But then they convinced Abramovich, don't shut down the academy because it will be a national disaster. Like from a PR perspective, to shut down the academy would be the only Premier club to not have an academy because you're just going to buy success. So they kept it running. So what they did was, first thing they did at Chelsea was they bought up the best players, knowing they weren't going to progress them to stop the other clubs getting them. Spurs lost out on players. So did Arsenal, actually. Lost out on players because Chelsea hoarded them. And then what Chelsea did was they loaned them all out, made money, and then because they were so good, they ended up selling them. So they ended up turning the academy into a business, not because they wanted to, but because they wanted to stop all the other clubs getting the players, and they had to find a way to justify it. So that Chelsea model is a little bit different. With Sir Alex Ferguson, players like Beckham, they didn't develop. Beckham got taken from Spurs. Beckham was a Spurs academy player. They nabbed him. So they did that with a few players. Now, when I look at Tottenham right now, I would say that if, and this is a big assumption, if Ange is going to be here for 4 years, so this is a massive assumption because we haven't had that since March, right? If he's going to be here for 4 years, and at some point they're going to bring through a crop of young players, now's the time to buy up players they think are good. So if this Phillips kid's as good as they think, Veliz, this Vuskovic, and so on, then if you listen to Ange's press conferences, you know, if you believe what he says, that is, I kind of think I think he means what he says. He always says we're right at the beginning of the project. We are in the infancy of it, which means 3-4 years in my view. So just maybe we are doing what Man United are doing or similar, and we're right at the beginning of it. But we won't know until 3-4 years' time, which is where you make a good point. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah, you can't know the future.
We haven't got a clue.
But you have to
By
start
the way,
somewhere,
was
right?
the comment
As
at the
opposed
beginning
to
when I said
just
the real
whatever's
job.
been happening.
So by the way, beginning when I said the real job, yeah, that was a bit tongue in cheek. I do apologise for that. That was,
yeah, we know it was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. That was a joke, by the way. Sorry, who's ever speaking. Sorry,
Alex
mate.
jokes. Alex jokes.
Sorry, mate. Just to let you know, because that was a bit tongue in cheek. Sorry about that.
I never took it seriously. I thought you were joking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't even know who you're talking about. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt anybody that was speaking. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, JP. What you saying?
I don't know. I forgot now.
I was talking about the academy players and developing them, and we're starting at the beginning of a project where maybe we're bringing in players.
And I mean, as opposed to, you know, you have to start somewhere, right? We've not had it, or we've had restarts and rebirths and kind of let's start another 5-year plan and stuff like that. But by getting these youngsters in now, again, you just have to get on board because there's nothing else in a way to say, okay, well, with Ange, as you said, who knows if he's got 3 years, but it does feel like the start of something. And by them going and getting these youngsters in now, fabulous.
It's like any project. Once you begin any project, there has to be consistency, there has to be continuation, and there has to be perseverance, and you have to buy into it. The first people, of course, you've got the right manager that can develop the young players because he's worked with them before, but also the club that starting this project have to first and foremost believe in what it is that they're doing. And like I said, continuation, consistency, and perseverance is the only way forward. The problem that you got of our club of late, at least, is that we don't see anything through. We start something, we chop and change, and then we do a completely 160 and go. It's just there's been too much of that in recent years, which is why we had no project has ever elevated off the ground.
I agree, and look, there's nothing wrong with being excited about the start, right? Like if you're a startup and you're starting up the company and stuff like that, and you're excited about that, that's great. But you can't walk into the Shark Tank and ask for $200K for 10%, right? Because you don't have a $2 million valuation at this point in time, right? You actually have to show something before you can say we've done something. There's nothing wrong with being excited, right? Like I don't have a problem with even fans this season so far in 4 games. Look, if you want to go and say that we've been better than Arsenal so far, have at it. It's true, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Saying that doesn't mean that we'll continue to be that way, right? You're simply just stating a fact. So if you're saying I'm excited because it looks like we've started something good, have at it. But don't go around saying that, oh, we've got this now. We're done, right? It's been great. We've been a success. No. There's no success yet. Success is when you see our captain, Son Heung-min, by the way, lifting a trophy over his head.
We've had the second best start in the league, right?
Yeah.
The other thing with the academy is, like, as much as we hate it, this is the reality. An academy serves a purpose depending where you are in time. For example, our academy generated 25% of the income that went towards the £200 million deposit to build that stadium. Without the academy, we were £50 million short. So there was a plan in place where the academy were instructed, you've got to develop and sell to help us fund the stadium. That was a direct instruction from Enoch. So when we're freaking out, where are these kids? Why aren't they coming to the first team? Well, one of the big objectives was you need to raise money to build the stadium. So
Sustainably,
that's why
he
I
could
said
just pull 50 million out of his pocket. Like
that's why I said. That's why I said.
I agree, but this whole self-sustainable model is, that's how they want to run it.
Self-sustainable,
That's
so they
why
can
I
sell the
said,
company for
what is
10,000%. Yeah.
That's why I said, what is the objective of Tottenham Hotspur with these youngsters? I've got no qualms that that Postecoglou wants to use Ashley Phillips, right? He's going to use some of the youngsters because the reason why he sold is there's a reason why he sold Sanchez. Yeah, I've got no qualms of it whatsoever.
I think this is the reason, Alex. I think this comment best explains where we are now as a club. It's partly to raise money for profit and partly to try and get players into the first team. I think that's where Spurs are now in terms of their time frame. I think this is where we're at now, which is why
it's not nothing against Ange. It's not. I still need time to get to know him, right? And I'm sticking by what I say, right? But I like the football.
Ange doesn't control the academy. No manager at Spurs does.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But that's why I'm saying that he can't do it all on his own. That's what I'm saying. Because
you're right. You're right.
He needs. It's all right saying that he wants to bring up some of the youngsters, but he needs to work because, like I said, there was a relationship between Pochettino and John McDermott, and that relationship grew. You see what I'm saying? And that's why we're bringing through youngsters now. Whether the youngsters, and this is the thing as well about Tottenham as well, right? You've got like players. We had players like Winks. When Winks was going downhill, right? You need to know when to sell. You know what I mean? Cut your losses. This is what some of the clubs, the big clubs, are good at doing. You see what I'm saying? Because that's pure profit you're missing out on. You get what I'm saying? So, again, there needs to be a plan in place. And for me, I don't see that at the moment. I don't think you can see it. It's like people say to me, "Well, just wait and see." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool with that." I am sitting there. I said it's a build. I said I'm the same guy that says I'll take 8th this season, right? Because it's a build, right? Because I know where my club's at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? But it's just you get silly people saying to me, "Oh, you got to be positive because it's a good." Well, Andrew's showing you something. I'm like, again, you're too short term. Again, because we haven't seen them on the bad run. You need to see where this is actually going to go. We need to see how it breathes. You get what I'm saying? We already now heard here Romero's maybe injured. Now everyone's going mad about that, saying, "Oh, he could be injured. He could be injured."
No, he's all right, isn't he?
Is he okay? Is he okay? Okay, he's fine. But again,
we are just one injury away there from.
I'm not worried. I shouldn't be worried because the thing is, though, as long as we don't get relegated, right, which we shouldn't be, right? Okay, you should be trusting some of these youngsters because you wouldn't look good with the Sanchez, which is exactly the reason why that Fulham game against the Carabao Cup, he did what he did with that team. I'm sorry, yeah, it's exactly why he did that, right? Put that team out. Yeah, I didn't agree with how many changes he made, but that's exactly why he did it, and he'll do it next season as well. Yeah, so that's my point. Yeah, and that's all I can say.
I don't agree with the fact that he should have done that. To be honest, Alex, like
I don't say he should have done it.
Together?
I said I understand why he done it. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not saying JP. Sorry about that, JP.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Good. What else is there?
There's
9 away. 9 subscribers away.
Can everyone
come on, honey, you meanies?
Subscribe. Don't even bother about the likes. Do subscribe. And in case you don't know, in the words of Box Office, you better get to know. We are on the road to winning the nomination for diversity.
No fucking way. You're joking.
Right.
Nah, everyone's having a laugh. Everyone's just having a laugh now. They're just trying to prove
Come on, folks. Go and click the link. Let's prove Iggy wrong. Let's prove Iggy wrong.
Big up to London, bro.
Just embrace the loser's mentality. Embrace the loser's mentality.
Iggy, you got to advertise it in your morning show.
London bro says you are amazing to us. We are amazing, and do you know what? We're going to bring that trophy home. We are bringing it home. You wait and see. It's coming home. We're gonna do
That's the mentality, Stelios.
Listen. If we finish fourth,
Tornado.
I'll take finishing fourth in that
Top four. Top four.
top four. If we
we'll
finish
invest
it,
next
if
year,
we
right?
finish in the top 4 of that award ceremony, then I'll take it. You know,
We'll reinvest next year, Iggy. Yeah.
we'll go again next year.
No, we're
Consolidate.
we're winning it. We're gonna
Consolidate.
we're gonna
Move
compete.
forward.
We're gonna compete once. We're gonna win it this one time. We're gonna do it. There's 2 more topics I want to cover before we wrap up the show. Now, this subject, I don't know if we should let Will speak on it because I don't know where it's going to go, but I think Will has to speak on it. Will, you're going to go last. Okay, you're going last on this one.
Sonny.
Sonny, our captain's a loser's
I
mentality.
think Andrew's hardest decision after the international break will be whether to play Son through the middle regularly or not. He previously commented saying Richarlison just needs to keep working and the goals will come. But Son's performance against Burnley was too good to ignore. Personally, I think he has to risk upsetting Richie to keep the goals flowing. Now, do you pick Son or Richie? You can, Murray, but let me finish the explanation of why I brought this up. So it's not just Son or Richie. A lot of people and big YouTubers and big podcasters and people with that blue tick that want more clout on Twitter and stuff, they said, and I lost my shit because I know they don't know what they're talking about, but they said the best way to beat a low block, because Sheffield United, our next game, they're going to play a low block, is to play Richarlison, not Sonny. Now, I went on there and I said, you're all talking out your ass. And I want to tell you why. And they said, I'm talking out my ass. The best way to beat a low block is 3 ways. Either a long-range strike, which Sonny's better than Richarlison, to move the ball far quicker with accuracy in and around the box. Sonny's better than Richarlison at that. Or to make runs that splits defenses apart. You open up the space and you feed the ball through to a player that's going to receive and shoot in 2 touches. And I think Sonny's better than that. So I replied saying, how are you going to beat a low block with Richarlison that's better than Son? All fucking hell broke loose, so I left the chat because I just couldn't be bothered, right? So, Mari, forget Sonny or Richie, but do you think Richie's better against a low block that Sheffield United are going to play? Do you think there's actually a case where he is better? Because people say he's better at headering and we might have to put more crosses.
Let me give you an easy answer, and it's a sad answer. Brazil played Bolivia a couple of days ago. Bolivia played the lower block because they know all the powerful all the combo teams like Argentina and Brazil or Uruguay will pump them. The guy had easy sitters and he couldn't finish his meal. He was pulled off and had a temper tantrum around the 50th, 60th minute because he couldn't score an easy one. Mind you, he's surrounded by Rafinha, Vinicius, Rodrigo, and all that talent. Against a low block Bolivia and couldn't finish his meal. Richarlison is done. And I actually feel sad. I feel sorry for him in the sense of, I don't know if it's psychological, but his national team sat him down. They sat him down. He was pulled off. Pulled off. And he was not happy. They know he's not there. And I feel sorry for him. I really hope someone gets a psychiatrist or someone in counseling to be ready to receive him when he comes back to Hotspur Way. Because
only Spurs do have players need counselling, man. This club, psychiatrists, life coaches, counselling. Yeah. Our clubs that
he's done. Even Brazil, man.
We fucked Rose. We fucked Dele Alli. Another one. Let's go. Another break. I should have laughed, but
I mean, it's sad. So the easy answer is he should not start at all, man. The sitters that he missed for Brazil, it was like extraordinary. and it was against a low block the Bolivians. So there goes your answer. Sonny must start. And if Sonny don't start Belize. Because Richie,
Really?
is he out?
Veliz over Richie.
Yeah. His confidence is shocked. That Saudi money, the rumors, yo, if it comes back in January, we need to fly him VIP to El Alatit, whatever you call it. Send him on his way. Get our money back.
Guys, what's your thought on son Richie? Will's going to go last because I can see him uploading images and stats, and it's just going to. I'm just ready for it. It's going to be like
I'll keep it
like a legal case in the court of law.
I'll keep it brief, man. For me, it's someone a long time ago when I used to play. I'm talking years ago now. Said to me, "You're only as good as your last match, and if your last match your striker scores a hat trick and doesn't start the following game to favour someone out of form, then the manager needs to be brought into question by selecting a player that's off form ahead of someone who's just banged in a hat trick for you. That's it. Simple as that.
It would be daft. It would be daft. It would be daft to not play Sonny up there, especially as he just got a hat trick. Like it just would be the strangest decision ever. And in fact, it would be quite out of order if kind of like on Son, I think. Especially because he's delivered in his first start. He's been played through the middle. He's delivered a hat trick, and
isn't this coming down, JP? Isn't this what we've been talking about? We've been talking about mentality, right? We either have the mentality that we want to progress forward, and the way that it's looking right now is by playing Son over Richarlison. Or do we want to go back to that mentality where we're going, well, we'll keep playing him. Eventually he'll come good. Eventually, how many is it going to be? 5 games, 10 games, 15 games? If any point, if Ange does that and we lack goals because he's not scoring and we're not progressing and we're not getting those, killing those games off, I mean, it's the same mentality, isn't it, that Kane was going on about? It's like, oh, well, it's fine. He'll come good at some point. We'll keep persevering. It's like, no, we want to see us win. And we do that by putting Son up there, not hoping Richarlison's going to come good. I mean, how many chances how many chances do we have to give the guy?
And don't get me wrong, I do feel for him actually, because like I saw him the other day, he is literally in bits, but it's not working for him at the moment. And I get it's 50-50. I remember you saying still, was it last season? Was like if someone's out of form, you either play him, or you just take them out of it totally, give them a rest, let them unwind a bit, get their momentum back up again, and then bring them back in. Because obviously the pressure on him right now, I think he's feeling that pressure. Talking about pressure, I think he's feeling it. He's feeling the need that he has to score. And he can't.
I remember in the summer. And I hate this because Spurs fans do, not all Spurs fans, a section of our fan base do this, then they go missing when they're catastrophically wrong. And a lot of Spurs fans said, actually, we're better off without Kane because Richarlison's better suited to Ange's system because of his press. And I just wanted to vomit. I just thought, this system is better without Kane in terms of, and you want to put Richarlison. And then they said, Son can't do it. Yeah, no, JP, you're right. The amount of goals he'd be scoring now, but they also said on top of that, and Richarlison's a better option than Son because Son's lost his pace. I just wanted to smash my head against the TV. I'm like, what's wrong with us? You look at us when Son plays. We look so fluid with him as a striker. We look so creative. And like what Iggy said, you're only as good as your last game, right? We were pretty good against Burnley. And Burnley, by the way, I know they're bottom of the league, but they played good football under Vince Company. We went away to a ground we normally come unstuck. So
they play quite open. Yeah.
Since when did Sheffield United start playing a low block?
Well, I'm just going by what people are saying on social media.
But let's just go with it, Will. Let's just go with it. Even if they were to play low block, I don't see how Richarlison would be a better option.
Historically,
even if they were to play low block.
Let's end this conversation quickly.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to show this.
Well, we don't need the stats to say anything.
And then I'm going to show this. League hat trick since 2018. Son with 4, Kane with 0.
Oh, Lord.
And then I'm going to show this. And you guys can pause that for your own things, right? That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I don't really need to say that much, really. I mean, it's been looking better with Song up front anyway all day long. You know what I mean? For me, I don't think he should be on the wing anyway. I think his game's just developed into a striker now. You know, we pass the ball quicker, and that's it. You know, he's our captain. So, you know, for me, just put him up front. I just don't even know why we're having this conversation anyway, to be honest with you. You know,
it's a dumb
unfortunately,
one too.
Richie's he's had his chance. He didn't move against Manchester United. He was a bit better against Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? I can't remember now. Maybe I'm just a bit tired.
Yeah.
But all from that party yesterday. But the point is now, yeah. Because Mr. Box Office has got a life of his own, you know what I mean? Doesn't talk about Ange every single day like some Tottenham fans do. The point is, yeah, right? You know,
dig him out, Alex.
The point is, yeah.
Names,
you
Alex.
know, it's like you know, Song's done better all day long. Just keep it going. You know what I mean? And Richie's just got to fight for his place, and that's it. I don't even know why we're trying to feel sorry for people right now, because we weren't feeling sorry for Harry Winks when he was playing badly, weren't we? We weren't feeling sorry for Dele Alli was playing well, weren't we? You know what I mean? We weren't feeling sorry for Sanchez when he weren't playing well, weren't we? You know what I mean?
He's got a better finish
the list goes
than
on.
anyone else
The list goes on. You know
in
what I
the
mean?
league, not in the squad. In the league.
I'm talking about from our perspective, from our club's point of view. Then of course you can compare him to anyone else in the league. But I'm saying from our point of view, looking at our inside our own house,
it's not even close. No.
It's not even close. So for me, I don't understand what the debate is. I think it's just people making excuses. We should play wide. We should give him a chance. Listen, you're as good as your last game now. It's up to Richie now to come back into the team and prove that he is the better choice. Not for. Could you imagine? Oh, we should give. Imagine
Iggy, I've been hearing this from you since we signed him. Do you know that?
What?
I'm just saying.
No.
It's for him to prove.
Stop right there. If you're telling me right now on the back of our last game that Richarlison should be getting into the team ahead of Son, I call you mad. I said you're as good as your last game. So right now, Son has proved that he deserves to be in that team right now, especially playing through the middle. Now it's up to Richarlison to utilize any opportunities given to him to get that place back in the team. That's up to him now. So he's got to show character. He's got to show resolve. He's got to show that he's got to turn around. If he uses that thing about feeling sorry for himself, he's not going to get much out of the situation.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, right? I think there's a reason Eric Dyer, Ben Davies have been dropped from this squad. And I think there's a reason certain players aren't getting a look in right now, okay? And I think Richarlison falls into the same category. The more and more I watch us play, the more and more I've noticed we are playing two-touch football. Not one touch. At times it's one touch, but we're trying to play two-touch football. Some players take 3 or 4 touches when they carry the ball forward. But in general, it looks to me like we're trying
shit.
Well, two-touch football is better.
A player that takes 3 or 4 touches, that means they need to take the first 2 touches where most people would take 1. That tells you the first touch is shit.
Yeah, but when you're right. You're right if they're trying to play 2 touch. But when you're carrying the ball, like Maddison, with the ball. When Maddison dribbles past the play and goes, he needs 3-4 touches. So the more and more I watch us play, and the more and more I see the players taking less touches because we're trying to move the ball quick in the right direction, the more and more I realise Dyer can't do this. Ben Davies can't do this.
Too slow.
There's no way. Richarlison can't do it. I was sitting at a bar in Cyprus, surrounded by Spurs fans, and I can't remember who it was against. Richarlison got on the ball in midfield and he fell over the ball. And everyone in the pub was laughing. I thought, boom. Everyone in the pub was laughing. And I thought, he's finished. This guy's finished. He can't do the basics. So how does he suddenly develop technique at his age? Because you're supposed to do that between 10 and 16. I just don't think it's going to work for him. The way we play, I think it's impossible for him to play. You look at Son's goals, by the way. Last one, Alex. You look at Son's goals against Burnley.
They were tap-ins.
I think he took 2 touches. One to control the ball, then pow, clinical. Is Richarlison a 2-touch player? I don't think he is.
The thing is, though, you
I don't think he'll
just
ever
answer
be
your
a
question. Stelios, you just answer your question because it's the same thing with Emerson. Yeah, you can't teach a football Emerson to attack. Yeah, you can teach Pura how to defend. You get what I'm saying? So how can you teach? You can't teach Richarlison how to control the ball and do the 2 touches. Yeah.
I disagree. I think you can teach players to play differently. I don't think you can teach technique.
Technique. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Technique.
You get to a certain age, it's like you're past it. You're behind.
Our team's a technical team. This is why look at the players that we're signing. Even the likes of Brennan, like bearing in mind, forget that the likes of Belize and this young kid that we just signed, but even Brennan, the son of Brennan Johnson.
They're technical players, though.
It's a technical player. We are becoming more and more of a technical team. But Bentancur, when he comes back, it just adds to that. Which is why Sarr is getting chosen ahead of Skip, because technically Sarr is a better player. So all of a sudden our team has become more of a technical side. Even from the back, the goalkeeper, I mean, I have to see how good he is technically, but for even to the eye, he's better than Luis was. So already there's been an improvement, although it's yet to be seen how much more of an improvement he is, and can we do better than Vicario moving forward. But right now, he's better technique with his feet than he is than what we had previously. So already there's been an improvement there. So if you look at it, Udoji, Van der Ven, all players that are comfortable on the ball, and you go into the midfield and then the forward line. So for me, it's becoming very evident the direction that we are taking if we are pursuing this project, if we like, with this manager. And slowly, we will start phasing those players like the Dyers, the Davis, and even Richarlison if he carries on in this moving, because we won't have the time to wait for him. So he has to grab the bull by the horns, really man up, because for me, what's letting him down is more than anything else is actual attitude. And when things are not going his way, at the moment things are not going his way. Before, because Kane was there and he wasn't getting a look in, and I stand by that. He wasn't getting much of a look in. He was playing like a bit part player on the wings and not through the middle. Now he's had those opportunities through the middle, and then as soon as somebody else comes in this case Son, and bangs in a hat trick, for me right now, and I've said this many a times now, the team picks itself right now, and that's it. That's it. We've got to pursue it.
I mean, and this is the truth. Like, I'm just so tired of all. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why our fan base is so. People think, oh, Will, you're just making it up. I literally started a highlight. You know, they have that highlights tab on Twitter now, or X, or whatever it's called. I've never used it before, but now I set it up, and I put all my best Sun tweets over the past 2.5 years since March of 21, where I've been fighting this war. I figure if I'm going to be labeled the leader of the Sun cult, I might as well embrace it and take it on full time.
What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know, man. There's some messages back in there from Stell back in the day saying Sun wasn't world class as well.
Honestly believe Son gets the hate because of Will. I honestly believe that.
No, it happened before I started.
I'm telling you, you're not doing him any favors.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway, and. But just because I can't stand it, man. Like, and this is the thing. I've been labeled like I'm some biased person for Son. I'm not, man. I hold him to account on everything he's doing. Like, even was talking about this Harry Kane thing. Stella, the WhatsApp group was like, if it was Son Heung-min do it, you wouldn't call him out. I'm like, yeah, I would, right? I would definitely call Son Heung-min out.
No way.
100%.
No way.
100%.
If Son made those Bayern Munich
100%. I'm not biased. All of my opinions and in everything are based off of rational argument.
Is Son part of that weak mentality that we have at Tottenham?
Absolutely.
He's now the captain of that weak mentality that we have at Tottenham.
100%. 100%. He's been a part of it. 100%.
Get out of here.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
He's the captain of that loser's mentality. We got rid of one, and now we're
he's
giving
going
it
to
to the other
change
one.
it. He's going to change
we
it
haven't
now.
lost yet, though.
He's going to change it now, right?
Under his captaincy. Just
We have to
saying.
see. We have to see how he. We have to see how he goes.
Yeah,
this
we got to see
season.
how
I
he gets
think-
on. But yeah, he's been a part of it so far.
I
For
will
sure.
say this. I will say this. He should be up front. He needs to be up front. I think
100%.
that's
He
his-
could
I
play
think his game's-
anywhere across that front line. He's the best player in the front.
I
Period.
don't agree with that.
Left, right,
I
center.
think he should be
It's a
up
fact.
front because I think his game's developed into that game now for me. Yeah.
Well,
I think,
being
I
in the
think
front
he-
because
He's always been a
Richarlison's
good
so
finisher.
bad.
He's always
he's
been
a
a good
good-
finisher.
He's a very good finisher.
Son
He
is
does have his, he
clinical.
does have his enormous times, right? Which
What player doesn't?
I do complain about.
What player doesn't?
Haaland. I do say Haaland has those times. So if I'm going to say that about Haaland, I'll say that about Son at the moment.
Every
but-
player has their anonymous times.
So I have to be fair because I do call Haaland the above average John Carew. So I have to be fair.
I wish, man. Son, where you at?
I had to rebalance. I had to rebalance. But the
The
point
most
is,
ridiculous statement on YouTube is that.
the point is,
Guy scored 50 goals last year. 50.
Yeah, I know. The point is, though, I think the game has developed up front, and for me, I put Solomon on the right or left, and oh gosh, I'm not impressed.
I
with
want to see Brendan
Kulusevski.
Johnson personally.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't mind him, even though he's below average Jamie Vardy still for me still. But the point is,
We've got Madison, so that works, right?
But I do agree with you. I wouldn't mind him there. To be honest, because I haven't been impressed with Kulusevski.
Through, man.
Not been impressed with Kulusevski. I've got to be honest.
I'm not saying he's been impressive. I'm saying he will come through. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm seeing signs of improvement game by game. They may be marginal, but I see them. I see them. For example, the other day, I hadn't seen where he dropped the shoulder outside left foot, and he just went. Listen. I'm seeing signs. I think it's still got a way to go, but I think he will get there, and I still think he's the best option on the right hand side for us. And I think with the return of Bentancur, which I hope is very soon, I think his game will pick up even more because I think they had a brilliant understanding on the pitch. I think
Benton called Madison and Basuma.
Mate,
but I will be positive. I will say this: the football's absolutely fantastic. I won't lie.
We've got technical players now, man.
I won't lie.
Madison's
Madison's absolutely fantastic. Basuma's brilliant. SAR's
Basuma in the week.
Adoji has been absolutely fantastic, but people putting him in their top 11s. I'm sorry, please, all time 11s.
I think Adoji brings a lot more to this squad than what we realise.
Oh yeah, Adoji's fantastic. Adoji's fantastic.
The problem.
I mean,
the only
started, so don't go over the top about him.
We're not. The only. I think it's good if we have everybody fit. We've got a good team. I think the frailty is where it's like that. We're just that one frigging injury away in certain areas where we just don't have.
You saw it against Fulham
in
the Carabao Cup.
We just don't have adequate cover at the back centrally. I think anywhere else we might just get away with it, but particularly the back at the back and the front. I think if Son's out and so forth, and if we lose one like Romero or Van der Ven, we're in deep stuck, man.
I'm not worried about that though. I'm not worried about that because again,
you're losing goals.
I'll go back to what I said before. It's a build, yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, right, if we have injuries, you've got people under you, like the youngsters that you're saying that you trust. You're saying that you're impressed with Ashley Phillips.
Don't get me wrong, Alex. I'd rather give the likes of Phillips, and those boys the opportunity ahead of Dyer. Yeah, because I don't need to see any more from Dyer, but I would like to see more from Phillips.
Can I just say this right now? I bet you right now, Dyer's not going to get anywhere near this team. He will not get anywhere near.
Better not.
No, I swear he won't. He won't because, as far as I'm concerned, right, the way that Postacoglu's just said to me, he said he wants attacking football. He wants people looking forward. Yeah, if he doesn't have people going forward, looking forward rather than going backwards, he'll get angry. Yeah, he'll be angry. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, Dyer's not going to do that. So he's not going to get in the team. Yeah, so for me, he'll put Ashley Phillips and Dorrington will be more likely to play than Dyer. That's why he's messed up himself.
He can't be any worse, Alex.
Lee, I agree with you.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm completely with you. He wouldn't have promoted him to the first team if he didn't trust that they can do a better job than him. It's as simple as that.
I also think Brendan Johnson will surprise a few people. I think in this context, in the context that we're playing, the football that we're playing right now will favour his
Johnson.
input. His potential, but I think he will hit the ground running because it absolutely suits the way he plays. So I think he's going to surprise a few, moving forward. So listen, we got options
his
now.
best attribute in a Nottingham Forest team, with the way that they play, which is completely different to us, his stats look bad. But when you look at he's one of the top 3% of players that when he gets the ball, he's got no problems with driving forward and carrying that ball forward, which is a lot of people don't do. And that's one of the differences between him and Kulu. I think he's going to be more useful in those kind of situations where you want him to take the football and drive it forward, whereas Kulu's a bit more technical minded. Yeah. I think they both play well. I just see how much game time they each get. But
I don't think his stats look bad at all. How many times has Kulu scored 8 goals in the league? Never.
Well, not that. There's a lot when people do analysis, a lot more red than there is green, in the sense that I personally think that the people that are focusing on the red is saying he's not very good in these areas. I think it will be different at Tottenham for him. So you'll see a much more all-rounded player because he's given the freedom to do things that he couldn't do at Nottingham Forest because he was asked to do a job, and he did that very well. But at Tottenham, he can flourish a little bit more. So we'll see. I think he's going to be good, but we'll see what happens.
I think it's the best time for him to come in anyway. I think it's the best time for him to come in anyway because, like I said, we're building. So for me, maybe I'm just tongue in cheek about calling him above average, below average, Jamie Vardy. I'm just been doing a joke there. But the point is, I think, like I said, I think we just need to just give it time. Like I said, with these players, because I think he could do something. I could see him up front. You see what I'm saying?
I was just thinking he's a Nottingham Forest reject. That's all I was thinking.
I mean, listen. I just think he could do something for Tottenham. You see what I'm saying? But I'm very optimistic that I'm saying right now. I do not see Dyer in this team. I think Davis will get into the team. I think Højbjerg will get into the team again because he works hard. You see what I'm saying? But you only have a limited amount of game time, I think.
It's
I think
like the last minutes or something in games.
But I just think some of the players that can't do two-touch football won't be in the team because you need pace in the team, right? If you're going to play a higher line, that's why Van de Ven and Romero work really well because they've got pace and they can trap. They can recover. You need to be able to pass in 2 touches, and you need to move. You know what I mean? If you can't do that, you're not in the team. You see what I'm saying? Because you just ruin it for everybody else, aren't you? You know what I mean? You're just going to slow down, and that's it for me. So I don't know why everyone's so worried about Dyer. To be honest with you, because if he's in the team,
Dyer, believe me,
I don't think he's not
worried that he'll come back
anywhere near this team.
No, I think Alex. I think the concern is if we get an injury, we've kept him. Therefore, he might. Maybe
he might jump his way.
Worm his way into it.
I have got so much confidence that I think Ashley Phillips
might end up being in the starting line.
I think Ashley Phillips will get in front of him all day long because
I don't know.
He does.
He better.
We shall see. The only time will tell.
Because this window drops from like a 6 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10 if Eric Dyer ever puts on a Spurs top again.
It's this week, isn't it? The squad gets announced
Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get into
what's
the squad.
That about? What was squad getting announced for? What?
They have to do it every year.
Your squad.
Yeah.
Like you can only
Registered.
name a 25-man squad.
I don't know why it's now. Should be much.
I don't get it. It should be before the season starts.
Because
it's the day after the transfer window.
You have the championship. English clubs can still transfer. That's only the international transfer window that closed. transfer window's technically still open for English clubs.
Fair enough.
I don't even know what the rules are anymore. Quick question here from C Cubed. Would you ever play Decky as a backup to Madison in the 10?
Not Madison, Sarr maybe. Sarr in that next to Madison. I'd play him next to Madison, but I wouldn't play him.
No, like would you play Decky as the attacking?
I mean, if Madison got hurt and Lo Celso was out of form, then yeah, you know, you had other players you could do that, right?
I'd probably
But
put
that's
Gio there
way
first,
down there. I'd rather play Kulusevski in that, you know, Sarr skip role than next to Madison than instead of.
Yeah. My answer is yes. I would. If Lo Celso, we got Lo Celso in the house, and even Brendan Johnson maybe that could play there as well. But yeah, if those two, I wouldn't have a problem playing with Decky there. Although for his country, he plays as a forward. So in two up front, he plays as one of the forwards. So listen, I think Decky,
I haven't seen the highlights yet, but apparently man of the match last night.
Yeah, anywhere in the front line.
Yeah,
the closer he is to goal, the better. Yeah, he's got. Listen, he will do a lot better. I think
we know he's got it in him.
Yeah,
just a matter of getting it out.
Did you guys see that clip about Basuma, like in the week, just roasting the goalkeeper and everyone?
I think he needs to be a bit more
filthy.
He's playing well.
Filthy.
He's playing well, but I think he needs to calm himself down a little bit. To be honest with you, it's a long season. It's a very long season, right? He's on form, but I think he's a bit showing off a little bit now, too much now. To be honest with you, for me, and Basuma.
What are you talking about, Alex? All right, okay.
Basuma,
no, man, let him go.
Yeah, but
I think he's in a really strong physical condition.
He's feeling
right
confident,
now.
isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's feeling confident.
Physically, he's on his level, and it's showing in his way, the way he's playing.
It shows the way he's playing, and I'm glad he's doing it. And I'm all for him. He was all my midfielder, yeah. But for me, he ain't done nothing, son. He done nothing at the moment still.
No, we're only judging him on the 4 games. I think, no, you're right. He's got to do it
It's kind of like it's like Thomas Partey for Arsenal. He was untouchable. He was untouchable last season. Right, look at him now.
No, but I think we only judge him for 4 games. But
he's playing left back, isn't he?
Yeah, right back. I think.
I think we're just excited of the player that's finally turned up from Brighton. Is the player that we'd all hope for. Actually, if anything, we've seen better. But you're right; it's 4 games.
100% we've seen better.
We've got the whole rest of the season. But right now, the signs are very good. Alex is physically in very good shape. His confidence has grown. Obviously, he's got the freedom of the manager playing in the way he wants, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the products of all these things coming together. Long may it continue, of course. That could be said about for all the players that have been doing well up to now. It's only up to now.
What I'm saying is consistency is key here. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
And for me, that's what I listen. I've been championing this guy since the beginning of the season. Well, no, since last season. End of last season, said he's my midfielder all day long, and he's proven me right as far as I'm concerned. I said Højbjerg out the team all day long. You know what I mean? But it'd be interesting to see how he plays against in the derby, against Arsenal.
That to me is more to do.
I expect Tottenham to do the same thing that they've been doing the last 4 games or 5 games.
Those kind of games to me is not just about physical condition and form. That's also personality. To go to a rival stadium of like the Emirates and turn up.
As well.
The big team is turning up. Personality, what we're made of when the pressure's on. You're going to find out these traits, character traits of the players when you go to grounds like that. Do we go there with a straight back, or do we fold at the first? Bringing it to the hookers argument that we've had all night. Do we go with a straight back, or do we bend over? That's the.
I think Iggy Angel.
I'm a pitcher, not a catcher.
That into them, right? Angel just pushed that into him.
Ange has made it very, very clear, like I said, and this is
That
what's
didn't work very well. Iggy says that, bend over. I say I'm a pitcher, not a catcher, and then the next words out of JP's mouth are, I'm going to push it into him. Go back and watch it. The sequence is just, it's great.
Clip that 10 seconds and let's turn in some kind of trailer. We've got to make a trailer out of that.
Very funny. And that's, you know,
in fact,
the Emirates.
No. What we do, we have Iggy talking about hookers. You then come in, and then JP says push it in further. Then straight away,
and you just
content awards, diversity. Make sure you vote for it. There you go. Right.
We are not fucking winning that.
Listen, one last topic I want us to cover before I wrap up. We've been going for 2.5 hours. This is a subject dear to Maz's heart, I feel. Maybe Mari's too. Daniel Levy and Ange are going to speak with the fans at a rare event. Now, I got an email about this. I was invited. I said yes, so I put my name in the hat. I've had no reply, and I expect no reply. So the thought of me being in the room with Levy, there'll be a murder. So clearly I'm not going to be there. But what do you make of it? Are they just... Because he's never done this before. They've never, ever done this before. And I also found out today that apparently tomorrow at 10 a.m., Ange Postecoglou is going to be on TalkSport. I don't know if he's calling in or if he's going to be on the show. But I've been told that Ange is on TalkSport tomorrow. Plus, Ange and Levy are doing this fan event where people are going to get to ask some questions. What do you make of it all? I mean, let me read it out to you exactly what Ali Gold said. Daniel Levy is set to speak to Spurs fans with Ange Postecoglou. Dan Levy and Ange Postecoglou is set to speak at a Spurs supporters event.
Can I tell you what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen, right? And I already know what other people are going to say. This is all PR because people are going to say, "Oh, the people have been complaining about. Oh, he never speaks to the fans. He never speaks to the supporters. Why are you going on about Daniel Levy not speaking to supporters?" Well, here's the thing. It means absolutely nothing if you're not transparent, right? You have some owners who will be more transparent in the sense of say, all right, this is the direction of our club and whatsoever. Daniel Levy is going to give you the answers that he gave in all the interviews. And if he finds a question that he does not like, he's simply not going to acknowledge it or answer you. So that's why Levy is going to talk to the fans. Levy is not going to talk to the fans. He's just going to give you his pre-conditioned thoughts about how the club is going. So it's not, unless he's being transparent, it ain't happening. And he's not going to be transparent. He has never shown it in the 23 years. So why does now all of a sudden he's going to be transparent? It's all PR, right? You know, he, like I said, we have a smart PR team in the sense of we're like, oh, okay, show some goodwill. He's going to talk to you. It means nothing if you're not transparent. At this point, it means nothing. So I'm not really, excited about, oh, he's going to talk to the fans. If you're not transparent, you're not being honest, then it means diddly squat, as they say in the States.
Levy's going to fly in on a 2-stroke to the Mario Kart theme. Like that. Go-kart, anyone?
He's gonna come in selling Beyonce tickets.
Let's go.
Does anybody think that Ange is buying into his own hype a little bit too much? Does that make anyone else nervous?
Yeah.
Say again.
That Ange is buying into his own hype.
No, I think Ange just stayed quite humble, actually, Will. I think
that's what the Fulham
thing was about. With the Fulham game.
The Fulham game, man. When he said we go in every game to win, and then he puts that lineup up, that pissed me off. And then what he said afterwards annoyed me. That made me
even more.
The interviews that he's doing,
it made me quit. I won't go as far as say it made me question him. It made me reflect, as in like.
But he's a yes man.
He's trying.
What
he's a bit of a yes man.
I think he's a yes man. If you actually watch him, if you watch him in his past, he's actually been someone who's been doubted and questioned a lot, right? Like he has been the underdog for so long, and now that he's kind of in the limelight, I'm worried that he's always had that fire and fight in him to prove people wrong. And now that he's getting all this praise at the biggest stage possible, I'm worried that he could end up being a Dele Alli situation.
Yeah, I agree with it. He's certainly a challenge he's going to have to adapt to. I don't think he's a yes man. I do think he has his own mind, and you can tell he thinks a lot, because whenever he gets asked a question, he never actually looks at the person asking the question. He's always looking down because he's concentrating on what his response will be and what the effectively the party line is going to be for Spurs. In regards to that event, I mean, it has been done before. I mean, Levy and Poch used to do it with the supporters trust, didn't they? It's the same thing. Yeah. He's effectively trying to repair the relationship with the fans. I'm not sure though that well, actually no, I am sure. I'm sure the fans will lap it up and say, oh, Levy's changed, and turn over a new page or new leaf or whatever the saying is, and all is forgiven, and we'll endure another 10 years of misery and despair and still ranting on the internet, arguing with trolls.
I see what I see.
May it never change.
I see where Will's coming from what he said, but I don't agree with it a little bit, to be honest with you. But on the fan thing, I think someone's had a word. And I don't know who's had a word, but someone's had a word, and because I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's not Daniel Levy. Someone said a word with him and said, whether that's we're gonna be able to get some answers.
No, everybody with a fan thing's handpicked. It's gonna be Chris. It's gonna be those guys.
Well, it's not gonna be any drama, because at the end of the day,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're picking Chris Callan. They're picking Ricky Sachs. They're picking.
They're not going to be people that are going to want to spoil anything.
Speak up.
You know what I mean? So and I'm not naming any names, but the point is that, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I do think someone's had a word with Daniel Levy. I've got to be honest, because
of course they have. He never came up with this. It's not his idea, is it?
There's no way that he would have done this off his own back. No way.
Danny made a good point that he did do something similar with Poch when Poch was here.
Yeah, he did.
Similar.
But I think again, there's goodwill there as well. So I think he's trying to make the most of it, isn't he? So, but
getting a pitch named after you in Melbourne is a bit different than managing a Premier League side.
My take on this is, I think it's cowardice, because if ever there was a time to come and speak to the fans, it was last season, and he went missing, and when
things were going bad. Yeah, exactly.
Very bad, and fans were turning. If ever there was a time to come and speak to the fans, it was then. What he's done is he's caught we've caught the crest of a happy wave, and he's thinking, do you know what? His PR team, Donna Cullen, whoever it is, they've said, go and speak to the fans now, Daniel. They quite like you. They think we've got really good transfers in, and Ange Ball's great. And you brought in Ange, Daniel. Go speak to them. Because who right now would dare call him out? Because if you do call out Levy out right now, most of the fans are turning against you. Oh, you're never happy. Look at the football we're playing. We've just won 3 out of 4. We've drawn 1. Things are on the up, and you can't. So it's impossible to call Levy out now without being on the backlash. And that's what's happened. He's a coward, in my view. Last year, the fans deserved to hear from you, and you basically hid. You hid, and you let us suffer in misery. And then you said, by the way, the prices are going up next season. Fuck off.
But Stelios, why do you think I said what I said? Right, we're not together as fans, because until Daniel Levy leaves, we're not going to be together, and he ain't leaving. So I'm not disrespecting what your Levy out thing. You know what I mean? But that's the truth of the matter. We're never going to be together on this, because the fact that we're doing well, which again, it's only 4 games, and we had the most embarrassing season last season. You see what I'm saying? I'm not letting that go. You know what I mean? Because as far as I'm concerned, it needs to be a long-term plan, and they need to stick with what they said in June. Yeah,
these things should be done at the beginning of the season or at the end of the season.
Exactly. But the point is,
assess.
The objective is not been cleared of what we are wanting to achieve. Now, if they did what Newcastle did, right, from the very beginning, the owners came in and said, "This is what we want to do. This is where we want to end up," right? I think people will be more on board because they know what we're getting. But we haven't been given anything to tell us what we're going to get at the end of this. You get what I'm saying? That's why I question a lot of things about the youngsters. All you get is hearsay or people in the know. And yes, the football looks good, and it's becoming more about the football a little bit because of Ange. And I have to say, it's because of Ange. Yeah, it's not because of Levy. It's not because of the behind the scenes. It's because of Ange, right? Right. That's why we're getting. That's why there's positivity.
Alex, is it all because of Ange? Is it all because of Ange?
Well, I think it is because I think his personality's really gone. I think he dealt with the Kane situation very well. He's dealt with the squad very well, and I think he's a sort of manager that has got on with it. You see what I'm saying? I think, and he's a very good coach. And I think he's a very good talker. And the fact he's going to all the outlets as well, and he's showing his personality, right? And I think his personality is kind of
I'm talking about the football.
Through.
I'm talking about the football.
Yeah, also the football as well. On the football as well.
You're the rightful leader.
Right, let me ask something about that, right? Because I had this argument with a fan in Cyprus where they said to me, "Oh, look at Ange.
Unite the clans."
Clearly, it's the system." They said to me, "You can't see it." And I said, "Well, Conte wanted a new manager, and we got Foster. Ange gets Vicario, who's far better. Conte and Mourinho both wanted class centre backs. They got Longley and Rodon. Ange gets Van der Ven. They both wanted a left back. We got stuck with Ben Davies. Udogie comes in for Ange. We've needed a creative midfielder since Ericsson left, and that was the Jose era. We brought nobody in. This guy gets Maddison. Has he not also been dealt a better hand in terms of transfers for the key positions that we were crying out for years?"
But I think that's
just my observation. You know, I'm not taking information, man.
Between him
but
and
Conte asked for quality centre back, and he got bloody long gap.
Yeah, but the difference is, Stelios, with him and Conte. I think Conte was a different breed of manager that wanted certain type of player, right? And it wasn't going to work at Tottenham. Ange has got a player, right? I think it sums it up with Maddison.
But hold on, Alex, 1 minute. I disagree. Don't you think Conte? Wait.
Hey, Mari.
Hey.
More
dream about hookers. You speak about hookers in Miami.
It happens to the best of us, Mari, man. Don't worry, mate.
But don't you think Conte would have accepted Udogie and Van der Ven over Longap and Ben Davies? I think Conte would have said, "Yeah, I'll take that."
Yeah, a bit, but I think the problem is with Udogie.
I think Jose Mourinho would have taken that,
wasn't he? But Udogie was going online, wasn't he?
Yeah, but my point is, Ange is benefiting from him being here. Conte never had that benefit.
100%. But that was always that wasn't a long-term plan, though, Stelios. And also, to be fair to Ange, again, I'm not all on board with Ange, but he has persuaded some of the players to come to the club. Like Maddison, for instance, he says, "Well, I'm doing this. If you're coming or not, I'm still doing this." You see what I'm saying?
I think it's more about the discounted price being reduced down to 30 million. If you include the Harry Winks exchange, we got Maddison for 30 million. I think
100%. But he could have gone Newcastle, though, bro. He could have gone Newcastle.
Yeah,
he could have gone Newcastle. And for me, like he persuaded him, saying, "Well, I'm doing this, right? If you're not here, I'm still doing this." You see what I'm saying? So.
Do you think if Antonio Conte picked up the phone to Maddison and said, "I've won Serie A, I've won the Premier League, I've won Serie A again, do you fancy coming and playing for me?" He would have said, "Nah, mate, no.
Yeah, but I don't think it's.
I'm going to play for Eddie Howe.
I think when you look at it overview of it, I don't know whether Maddison and Conte, because if Conte really wanted him, I think he would have gone out and said something. You know what I mean?
It was 70 million pounds. We were never paying that, were we? He was 70 million pounds
even
with
if we
English
did,
tax.
even if we did, I mean, I think we're just, it's in hindsight, isn't it? Really, but for me, from what I'm seeing at the moment, he's persuaded most of those players to come to Tottenham. They've said, well, he said, I'm doing this.
Who's he
And
persuaded, Alex? Who's he
well, he's
persuaded?
persuaded Madison, hasn't he? He's persuaded Madison from what
Okay,
the
but
quotes
I
have been
think
going
if
out
the
there.
club were
Haven't you
prepared
heard
to pay
still?
the
Ange
money,
Pool. That's a new
Wife
thing.
was in
Ange
London.
Pool is peak. That's the new
No, I
Twitter.
just think
By the way,
I just think he's his attitude towards it is, well, I regardless if you're going to be here or not, I'm still doing what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? This is the football I'm going to be playing, and this is the strategy I'm going with. You're either going to be on board or you're not on board. I don't really care. You know what I mean? So I think that's
well, didn't
what's
Conte and Mourinho
captured.
do that? Didn't they say it's my way or no way? Didn't they do the same thing?
Yeah, but I think the football. I think it was about the football, wasn't it? Stelios.
But when I look at Conte when he was at Inter Milan, I went and watched the videos. Inter Milan played good football.
Yeah,
he got the.
But with good players though, Stelios, though, wasn't it?
That's my point. Right? So if Conte had Maddison, Udogie, Van der Ven, Vicario, this is the point I'm making. I listen. I'm glad Ange is here. I like the way he comes across. I like the way he manages us, the fans and the media. I love the football we're playing. I'm not against Ange. I actually am preferring Ange to Conte. I'm preferring it. I've got no issues admitting that. The point I'm making is, don't you think some of the success we're seeing this season, it's only early doors, is because Ange has actually been dealt a better crop of players in the transfers than Conte?
100%. And you don't
and he's got a fit Basuma. Basuma was injured under Conte. Yeah, I'm just asking. I'm not.
This is the whole. I'm gonna say it real quick. You got this basically this false narrative that if you liked Conte, you can't like Ange, which is absolutely ridiculous. By the way, you can like them both, right? You don't have to pick one or the other, right? This isn't who do you like better, your mom or your dad, right? You can love both of them at the same time. I mean, it's silly. This whole argument is silly. It's like, oh, Ange is great. You Conte supporters in the mud. No, we're not.
I think we defend better with the team we've got already when we're attacking. To be honest with you, if I'm really honest,
I think with Ange, he's definitely had more control over what's happening at the club than what I saw of what happened with Jose and Conte. I mean, maybe that's wrong, but that's what I'm seeing at the moment. The fact that he's been allowed to drop Dyer into oblivion and get rid of Winks and Sanchez and Ndombele's moved on, and he hasn't been forced to try and make these players work like Jose and Nuno and Conte had. Gives him a massive advantage, and I agree with you, Still. So far, I think I do prefer Ange over the previous managers in the way he handles the media and the football we're playing. So so far so good, but I'm just cautious because we've seen our managers, especially the new ones, come in and do amazing. Jose came in and I think was it in these, not the first season but the second season, up until January we were top of the league and we were thinking, bloody hell, this is the best ever start we've had. And then the same thing happened with Conte, then it all imploded. So we just have to wait and see how it goes.
That's a really good point. We've been here before where we get off these really good starts, we're in really good positions, we get hyped, and then come May we want to kill each other.
Yeah. So
listen, I stick by.
And that's only a couple of injuries away,
Well, we already isn't Romero injured?
No, I think
Romero injured. Actually.
No, I think he's out training with the boys today, apparently, for the game tomorrow. Be interesting to see if he plays tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? Bolivia or something like that. The thing is, right, for me, going back to the discussion about this fan meeting with Levy, I don't think there's any redemption for Levy unless he walks out there and the first couple of lines that come out of his mouth are, sorry to all of you, we've made mistakes. And
sorry for 23 years, lads.
Well, no, exactly.
That's like half my life.
But that's the point. Unless he does that and accepts that they've done things wrong, and it's changing, then there is no redemption for him. It doesn't matter what, meetings he puts on with fans or whatever, they're always going to be on his back. So I really don't see the point of this PR stunt. I don't get it. I don't know why he put himself in the firing line like that. But maybe someone said to him, as Alex said, you've got to start building a bridge or connection between you and the fans. You can't just be sat in the boardroom all the time and putting out blatantly statements that are not written by you. They're written by someone else and passing them off as your own. You've got to have something.
I think it's just too late for him to recompense. It's just too late. He needs to win the league or win like several cups in a row for any opinion to even move.
Oh, no, I agree, Miss. I agree. It's not going to be overnight, but at least it's something.
The problem is people say, "Oh, we need to give him credit for something. We need to give him credit for the signings. We need to give him credit." And I'm like, why? Why?
He's just jumping on a happy wave, man. That's all he's done. Because these things, like I said, he's done at the beginning or the end of the season.
That's
Never 4 games. Why do it 4 games in? Why didn't he do it after the Fulham game? Just catching.
It could backfire on him badly. Yeah. It really could backfire.
Do you reckon he might unveil 3 new skyscrapers behind the South Stand as part of this? Just like they pull the cloth over the model.
That's what it is.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it is, really.
I'm so bored with that conversation. Why does our media base report about buildings that we're building? Who cares? We're a football club. I don't care. I don't care if we're building 2 extra floors on our dang hotel.
We've never seen a fan base talk about accounts and profit and anything more than Tottenham Hotspur.
But does anybody care that we're building some, diving platform, outside the stadium? No, nobody cares.
At least ask the question: how does that impact the footballing side of things? The football.
I can see the diving platform being useful.
Do we get the profits from the hotel revenue or what? Like nobody cares if our owner's building a hotel behind the stadium.
There's an account on Twitter.
What other club talks about that?
What
other club does that, first of all? And then what other club talks about it?
Somebody that has a successful football team can talk about that other stuff because fans will be interested in it.
There's an account on Twitter called Lily White Rose. Right, he's actually an okay guy, and he does a lot of one of these wannabe journalistic type stuff on academy players, and he's the so-called academy expert, blah blah. Okay, whatever. Anyway, he always, I don't know why, he always wants to update us on any building work at Spurs, and then he constantly gets pelters for it. Like people just like, we don't give a shit. Shut up. Stop. Right, but he keeps doing it, and he did one recently, right? And I never get involved because I'm like, I can't be bothered. But he did one recently, right? It just triggered me, man. He made an announcement that they're changing the staircase design between the 18th and 22nd floor of one of the apartment blocks we're building. And I just tweeted, I don't give a fuck. And it was
I did the same thing to Ali Gold, dude. I said, dude, the only reason why fans talk about this is because you report about it, right? Nobody cares. Stop reporting about. You're supposed to be a football reporter. Nobody gives a crap about the economic impact to the Tottenham area. Nobody cares.
But they're not like that. Lily White Rose is a good guy. I've seen him talk on podcasts. I like him, but he's just obsessed with like the stairwell and the fire safety regulation. It's like
maybe he's a property guy, man. Give him a break, still.
Yeah, but that should be happening. But look, I'm sure whatever news agency owns football.london has like a community section or an economics department. They can talk about the Tottenham, stuff. Football.london shouldn't be talking about us adding another 20 floors to our hotel that we're building. Nobody cares. This doesn't affect the club.
Mate, it's funny. It's funny. And the thing is, our fans, they either hate it, like really hate it, or they love it. They're like, oh, amazing.
Dude, the stadium I get because that directly impacts the football club. But we're talking about something that, first of all, most of the people who have tickets or buy tickets and go to Spurs on a weekly basis couldn't even afford to stay in for a weekend, by the way. And then we should care that they. We added an extra 400 rooms to the thing. Great. That means how many new transfers next season? 0.
In fact, if there's a miracle and I get picked to go to this fan forum, I'm going to bring up this question to Levy about the zero fire safety. I'm going to bring up about the fire safety regulations between stairwells 18 to 22. I'm actually going to raise it as an important question because as a Spurs fan,
love that question.
He'll probably be like, a fan that really cares.
His eyes will light up. He'll be like, he'll actually give you a serious answer to that one.
Mate, I swear to God, if I make this panel, and I'm not, but if I do, I am going to go in there with an I love Cambridge University jumper. I'm going to fucking go in there with one. So he knows I'm one of the.
Anyway, listen. Send you one of my Enoch out shirts.
The crew. One of the crew.
Yeah, one of the crew. Listen, we're going to wrap it up. Let's just say goodnight to everyone and go around the panel. Last words, my man.
Good night and see you tomorrow morning on the Good Morning Tottenham Away videos.
Check out Tottenham Away tomorrow. Good in the morning videos. JP.
Ciao, ciao. We'll see you soon. Football's back at the weekend. Be down there.
Yeah, I'll probably do a show on Friday night. Actually, I might do a show on Friday.
Are you lot at the game, Sheffield United?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. I am.
Okay.
Will?
Just I'm overwhelmed.
I mean, it's international break right now, so I don't have any after shows, but I'll jump on the shows that people do throughout the week, like I've been doing. And then just, I got a message for my one and only love, Son Heung-min. 형민아, 형이 2년 동안 너무 열심히 싸우고 있는데, 이 개새끼들이, 이 욕해주는 개새끼들이 신경 쓰지 마, 걱정 마. 형 잘 찍어줄게.
Do you know what's not fair about that? You could have easily just said everyone on the show I'm with tonight is a piece of
everyone
shit.
Say everyone's up there, all a bunch
we
of
wouldn't have a clue. We'd have no clue what you just said.
Yeah.
We'd be like,
he knows what I said.
Will's not like that.
Sonny, man, give him some VIP or something, man. It takes so much shit for you.
형한테 왜 그래?
Maz, final words?
See you next week.
Cool.
Short and sweet. Lee?
Ooh.
It's a good answer. Clown show.
Oh my God, what a classic sound. Mari, any updates on the hookers tonight?
No.
They've wiped him out.
Trust you to say that, Stel.
I just got a message from my girl, so I'm just responding to her video.
Which girl? Number 62, number 17, 100.
Just got numbers for them now. That's it.
The one I got the ring for.
Oh, okay. Wifey.
The future wifey.
Mari wanted the show to finish 45 minutes ago. The guy
Killed it.
He's been shattered. Alex, when are you next on, man? What's going on with the channel?
Yeah, sorry about me stuttering earlier. I think I'm just tired. Absolutely tired. I've not been at my best today in terms of Mr. Bot's office anyway. But yeah, I'll be back soon. I am planning to do some few videos, whether it's going to be this week or next week now. I was using this time to really start use my creative side of me, Mr. Bot's office time, to really get myself juices going, because I've got some really juicy subjects to really speak about, and I still promised you the best, the worst, the bang average top 5, which I am still doing. But like I said, it's still running. I've still not been cancelled, because everyone wants to cancel me, but I'm not going absolutely nowhere, and that's it. Yeah. So like I said, Mr. Box Office TV, back again, getting back to hopefully 1,000 subscribers soon as well, and that's it. And big up to everybody on the stream today as well, and that's it. And if you don't know, get to know, and that's it. And I'm done. Back to you, Stelios.
Back to me. We've got 200 people watching still. Please, can you all go and like, subscribe, and follow Box Office? We've got to get him to 1,000. It's criminal.
Yeah, man.
It's unacceptable. In case you don't know, and you haven't been watching the show tonight, you've just jumped in at the last minute. We are going for the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Award at the Football Content Awards. Can you please go over there and nominate for Tottenham Away TV? We want to bring it home. We are the most equal, diverse, and inclusive channel on the airwaves. We deserve it. It belongs to us, and it's an injustice.
They want to bring it home. Don't do it for me.
I showed them how to get on and vote on one of the Spurs Lounge. Maybe it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So they know how to vote. They know how to vote.
Yeah. So if you know, do it. Iggy,
do it for them.
Promote it every
Stella and Mario are super hyped up about it. I couldn't be bothered either.
It's in the bag now, I'm telling you.
True story, right? When I spotted this award, I said to the guys, listen, can we do some artwork so we can promote this? We should try and win it. Will's first response was, I don't give a shit about this woke award. I'm like, it's a trophy, man. I want a trophy. What the hell? But, anyway,
I said I'll make the graphic. I couldn't fucking be bothered doing about this whole thing. I said if we can't, look for the watchers. I said if we can't get 150 people to like a damn stream, how are we gonna get them to come over?
It's true.
And vote?
It's true. You never know. People might just do it for jokes. Thank you to London Bro for your.
I appreciate it. I'll clap it up.
Listen, if we win it, you're all going to come to the party. London Bro, thank you for the super sticker, and also Dead Spurs, thank you for the super chat. Big up to everyone on the panel tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow the channel. One last time, make sure you vote for us. Iggy, you need to promote this on every morning show, by the way. Like you,
yes, Iggy, come on.
That. Fuck that. Good and proper. If you hate Stelios, then fucking take him there. Let him go to the fucking party.
That's it still. Reverse psychology.
This really is reverse psychology. We can like monkeys about it.
You know what? On other channels, right?
To keep Stelios happy, do it.
Now, Mari wants to win as well.
Okay, and for Mario as well. Let Mario do it.
I want to choke you.
On other channels, right?
I'm all right with top 4.
Will we get one before Tottenham?
If we can finish in the top 4, then I'm happy.
Listen, on other channels, right? They're promoting the awards as well, but they're going for a different category. They're not going for diversity and inclusion. They're going for other, like best channel in whatever. And they're all positive. They're all like, yeah. On our channel, fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Couldn't give 2 shits about it. I mean, from the get-go, man. I've said it from the get-go.
We're the only channel saying, yeah, don't vote for us.
Don't waste your time.
If you hate us, vote for us.
Don't vote for us.
If you hate us, vote for us. And then we'll send Stel to take the abuse.
As us.
Yeah, we'll let Stel go and take up, and then we'll be the one abusing him while he's accepting the reward.
If there was a most hated channel award, trust me, we would win.
I'll take that with more happiness. What we'll do, if we win that, we'll be the one front row giving Stel abuse as he receives it.
Where's all this negativity coming from? Like, what the hell?
I'm embracing the Spurs losers mentality.
I've thought you've been pretty positive tonight, Stel.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Hey, can you feel it?
Stel's turned over a new leaf since coming back from his 9-year vacation in Cyprus.
Yeah, he hasn't quite got into the England.
Wait till Romero, Basuma, and Son get injured, then I'll completely switch. Yeah. All right, listen, guys. God bless you all. Thank you for watching the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe. Get over to Box Office TV as well. We're out of here.
Big up, everyone.
These nuts.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.